Hi, and welcome back to MRTV. Welcome to the Pimax Frontier 2024 rematch. My name is Sebastian and I'm here with the man, the legend, Martin Lummy, also known as Sweviver. Martin, how are you doing?
Thanks, man. Thanks. Great to see you, and thanks for inviting me. It's awesome to be here tonight, especially tonight, right after the Frontier.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming onto this show. And you know what? Congrats for this Pimax Frontier show. I've just live streamed it on my German channel, and I can tell you the German VR community, they are pumped up. They loved what you showed them. Do you have the same feeling about the show? What are your
Yeah,
feelings about the show?
yeah, definitely. You know, when I saw the views, I mean, it was like 32,000 people watching at the same time, and the chat went crazy. And now, honestly, from my own perspective, I think this is the best announcement Frontier we've made so far. Not because I was hosting it together with Yab,
But you did a
but
great
because
job, though.
thanks. No, I'm not that kind of guy doing those things otherwise. But still, I was just myself. But no, here's the thing. I think the products we're about to release here are something more. There's a thought process behind it this time in a different way, which is kind of exciting. And there are some things which might not be as exciting for people, such as the wagging module, but for me that's like wow, maybe
Mhm.
because I've spent so much time with it, and that's why I'm just like that's basically the main topic for me.
Okay, cool. We will talk about it. you know, there's there's many cool things that were shown at this show, and yeah, we want to go through all of them if you have the time. For me, it's
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
It's anyways already 3:30 at night here in Taipei. I'll
Oh
just go
man,
through it.
I
yeah, man,
just feel
I'm
sorry
excited
for
about it.
you, man.
No. Don't feel sorry. I love this stuff, and obviously. I'm so happy to be in the position that I can speak directly with you and ask all the questions that the community has after the show, because there are lots of questions, of course.
Yeah,
So
hopefully I will be able to answer all of them, most of
yeah,
them at least.
yeah. Let's see. I'm looking forward to find out about all the products. So let me sum it up. You have introduced new products or products that we knew already about. First of all,
Right.
you've introduced the 60 gigahertz Wi-Fi module for the Crystal, for the original Crystal, and it is
Yeah.
really only for the original Crystal, not for any
Yeah.
other headset. Then you have introduced a new stripped down version of the Pimax Crystal, the so-called Pimax Crystal Light, which is stripped of the battery, of the standalone stuff. The X2 chipset is not there anymore, and it's a pure PCVR headset. And I must tell you, this is the one that I'm excited about. For me, this is the big deal because it only costs $699, and it is basically, in my opinion, the perfect replacement for the Reverb G2 for the people who don't have base stations, because it still has controllers. So this got me and all of the community super excited. Then, yeah, you can say something.
No. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
because I'm still in this summary mode now.
Sure.
Then you have introduced a new higher tier crystal, the Pimax Crystal Super, and it is basically, in my opinion, the logical continuation of what you did with Crystal, because people like the Crystal, but they said, oh, actually, we want this to be a wider FOV headset because you are Pimax and you like to do wide FOV headsets. So basically, it's that. It's a new display, which is way higher resolution, 3840 by 3840, and you got bigger lenses, and the panels are big, so you can make 130 degrees FOV with this
Yeah.
super high resolution, which is higher than the Apple Vision Pro, and basically still gives you eye tracking, still does all the things like dynamic forwarded rendering and also inside out tracking. So
Right.
nice, in my opinion. This is like for
It
the
is.
high end people, right?
Yeah,
It is
that's something for like you and me. We're just
exactly,
obsessed with the specs
exactly.
and the
Yeah,
resolutions and all that.
yes.
Yeah, definitely,
It's
definitely.
for really for the high end who wants to have the highest clarity that you can get in VR right now, period. Right? Basically, there's nothing else which is like this kind of high resolution and will have this kind of quality. That's what I suppose after seeing the specs, because it's just so high spec with 50 ppd. And the Crystal, which has nice 2880 by 2880 displays and an okay FOV, it has 35 ppd. And that already looked like a high glossy magazine. So that is crazy. And I know that it can get better because I do have the Apple Vision Pro, which looks amazing. And I also think better than the Crystal. So I know that there is something better than Crystal clarity, right? And it seems like you're going to deliver this with the Crystal Super QLED. Wow, I like it. And then also the price, it's also exciting, $1,799 for this kind of high-end machine. I think this is like a crazy price. This is like
and if you already have the Crystal, you get it for like $400 cheaper. Even. So that's like $1,400.
That is the insanity thing. That's the insane thing. So if I own a Crystal, I'll get it for $1,400 or what?
Yeah. But that's how Pimax is working. We always try to evaluate the customers, the community. It's slowly growing. Of course, it's still like a niche inside of a niche thing. The high-end virtual reality, but it's growing, and I think we do appreciate it a lot that we're actually one of the main actors on the scene here, and I think we're going to continue doing that, of course.
But do I have to send back my Crystal to get this discount?
That's not trading. No.
Okay, I just get $400 discount because I'm a cool MRTV guy who has all the headsets.
Not only you,
I like it. I like it. All of the cool Crystal guys will get this headset, girls. Of course, for $1,400. This is really like it's like a so aggressive price, honestly speaking, right? It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, right now in the industry, we have to be aggressive. That's the point. And we are, how do you say, privileged by the fact that we do have our factories in Shanghai, which
you can just do it. You can just do this kind of crazy thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's of course. I mean, every company needs to take some profits and make some have some margins.
Pimax.
No, we do. Otherwise, there won't be any company, of course. But there are possibilities to be aggressive when it comes to the price making, and that's one of our things, I guess.
Okay, good, got it. And then we're going to talk about all these products, but let me still continue my summary. And then Pimax thought, no, that is not enough. No. Like Super QLED is not enough. 130 FOV.
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet because we also have a Micro-OLED headset, Super, and you know what? You don't even have to buy it extra. It's in the same thing because we have an optical module that you can just exchange.
Right.
You're right. Exactly. And if you want to have,
it's real. It's real. It sounds like a thing you made up, but it's actually real.
No. No, Martin. I know. I trust you. I know that's real because I didn't believe that something like the Portal would become real. But yes, it is real. But it was just not good. So the thing is just, you know what I think? My initial thoughts. Let me tell you my initial thoughts. I thought like, why not just do the Pimax Crystal QLED? $1,800. It's an amazing thing. 130 degrees FOV. Yeah. Everyone is happy.
I think Robin tried to explore new markets, and it was a risky experiment. And of course, handhelds are pretty popular these days, especially with the introduction of Steam Deck and others. So there was an opportunity for that, although it is tricky. We don't have such a huge software team as obviously Meta has and other companies. So it's hard to. First of all, it's hard to make those developers to jump over to basically join.
I don't want to talk about the Portal. I'm talking now about the Micro-OLED device, and that it's kind of an interchangeable module. In my opinion, I love Micro-OLED, and if it works out, you win. It's great, But for me, it's always like, why does Pimax really always want to do the jack of all trades. You know,
Well,
like
wait. This time, I don't think it's jack of all trades. Although I think it's innovative in a way because you can potentially save money by having two headsets in one, which is kind of like a Robin thing. He loves to experiment with these things. And I think since the market is so split between micro OLEDs, OLEDs versus LCDs versus QLEDs and stuff, and people are obviously buying way too many headsets these days.
you
I,
can't
I'm
buy
not talk-
enough headsets.
well, I actually stopped buying headsets a while ago because I just couldn't afford it anymore. But I know people who has like 12, 15 headsets, which is just insane. And if we can combine two different technologies into one unit,
Okay.
even though there are compromises made, it's still like you get two headsets in
Yeah.
one. Of course,
You're right.
we're able to reduce the size to make it look like an Quest 3 or
Yeah.
Apple Vision Pro, but that's not our goal either. That's
I got
never
it.
something we've been trying to achieve.
I got it, and that's I get it. It's fine if you focus on just the best picture quality and it make it comfortable, and not okay. And also it's not as heavy as the Crystal was, so it's great.
No, that's
And
the
you
thing.
know,
That's the
if
thing.
if you put it
just said,
off, yeah,
oh, sorry. No, you just said that about the clarity and the image quality. That's the main goal. That's what Robin like
right,
tries to improve all the time.
right,
It's crazy, you know. I was at the office just recently there for 2 weeks, and I saw how he's working. How I saw how picky it is when it comes to things. When he was testing, evaluating new refresh rate modes and all of that stuff, and I see how much he's so passionate about the
right.
technology and to constantly get better image quality, which is the main thing for him. And that's why we're striving for
Okay, I
those
got
new
it.
3840 panels, which
That's
is
great.
maybe not even necessary for some people. For a lot of people, it might even not be necessary, but it's still something
Most will
which,
love the Crystal Light already, and they will think it's perfectly fine.
yeah, indeed. We're going to talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit
we
later
will. We
here, but
will. Yeah.
I spent like a week with the Crystal Light, so I
Okay,
love it.
perfect. I will ask all the questions. Okay, I get it. I understand. So Robin, he simply wants to get the best technology to make the best picture, and that's why we get
Yeah.
these crazy ideas of like interchangeable lenses. But yeah, if it works out, I'm telling you, if it works out, it's a great idea because yeah, of course, I also want to have a micro OLED headset, right, next
Yeah.
to my 130 degrees FOV headset. Of course, I want it, and yeah, I root for you guys to make it happen. But I'm
Thanks,
just
man.
thinking, if you would have just done the 130 degrees QLED, everybody would already be happy. You know, it's just like okay, another thing on top that could not work or have some problems or what. But if it works out, obviously it's a winner because the bundle with both optical modules for $2,000 as a Pimax Crystal owner, wow, that is just like a no-brainer, basically, right?
Yeah. No, but really, I mean, when it comes to the modular aspect of Crystal Super, it's not really that complicated. Not really like you need to disassemble the entire headset to switch the module. It's basically the optical and the optics and the panels, which is all connected together. So it basically needs a couple of connections at the top to just connect it to
Okay.
the rest to get power, to get the audio out, of course, to the head speakers and such. So it does sound more complicated than it actually is. So
Okay.
it's not that prone to failure as you might think, just because it's modular, you can take it out and
Okay.
you can drop.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it looks crazy. I know it looks
Yeah.
insane, but it's a pretty neat concept. I think it's something that people would just realize. Holy shit! This is you can actually have more modules than this.
Okay.
You can maybe extend that to
Right.
another panel technology,
Right. Right.
even higher resolution. I mean that the
Okay.
possibility is there.
The idea is actually good. But
Yeah.
you know, the idea of interchangeable lenses was also good. But then I personally I didn't like all the other lenses. I only liked the 35 PPD lenses, and the others I didn't like them.
Yeah, the other lenses had some compromises, especially the wide field of view
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
right.
binocular overlap.
This is
Although
not good.
I did like the 42 ppd for
Ah,
what it
okay,
was
okay. Yeah,
made for. It's not made for
right,
gaming, but
right.
it did what it was promised to do. What
Right.
it delivered, although not many people really had the
What was it made for
use
then?
case.
The 42 for adult entertainment?
Entertainment, yeah. Well, for example,
Yeah,
yeah,
you wanted to see everything just super clear.
super clear.
Yes.
Then you need the source to be super clear as well, which is another problem. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I've been researching that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Let's
but I
change
mean
the topic.
desktop.
Let's quickly change the topic.
Yeah, no, but I mean desktop work or just simply doing some simulator stuff. 42 versus 35 ppd makes a difference. It does.
Yeah, yeah, I
but
know.
but, but there
It did look
wasn't
clearer.
enough of people for that because of the sacrifice of the field of view like that.
Right, right.
So
Got it. Yeah, but if you the idea is good, and if you say it's not so complicated to make it happen with the modules, yeah, it does make sense if you think about
Yeah.
it. But because like us enthusiasts, yes, I want both, right? It makes sense. So I don't want to pay
Sure.
2 times €2,000. Yeah. Anyways, what a great show! Like finally a company
Thanks.
that does something for us PCVR like fans, nerds, right? You like really
Yeah.
like you deliver for us what we need, and that's
Well,
fine.
we delivered the show now, but now
The
we're
show,
going to
the show.
deliver the headsets.
That's what I
Yeah.
said exactly. The show was
That's
great,
the
and
goal.
now we need to have the delivery, which hopefully is going to happen. Okay, so
Yeah.
so that was the whole show. Let's talk about all the different products. Let's start with the 60 gigahertz Airlink. So it is
Yeah.
finally coming. It is a module that you put on your crystal and only on your crystal, on the original crystal with a battery. Not the new light, not the new super, just the
Yeah.
original crystal. So it is like a little a thing that you put into the crystal. There's a micro HDMI on the crystal, and that's
Yeah.
it. And on the other side, you plug it into your computer. It can be a laptop. What kind of connection? How do you plug it in? USB-C?
So
or
I
what?
could go. Here's the thing. I'm working currently on a video about it where I actually spent some time at the office testing it for several days, and I did some shots and stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could show you some hints of
Please,
it a little bit.
please do.
No, here's the full video is not finished yet, but I can show you some raw clips. If you could put me on like full screen, then I could actually connect my virtual screen.
Oh, yeah.
Is that working?
Yeah. Wait a moment.
You should be able to see my
Yeah.
my desktop now.
Yes.
There we go. So I'm just gonna just run some random clips meanwhile we're talking.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
And here's the
Oh.
thing. So first of all, let me pause this. The dongle here, that's what you connect to the micro HDMI port on the crystal, of course. It's snapping on to the headset, just like it's actually never got loose when I tried it. So it's really easy. So there's like no magnetic or anything, which was the plan from the beginning. But you cannot really rely on magnets.
Okay.
Then we have the transmitter. The thing you have on your top is your receiver. Then you have the transmitter, and this thing is like 15 centimeters tall. It's not.
Okay. It
that
looks
big.
pretty good.
Yeah, the bottom part of this is kind of like a very heavy foot, so to make
Okay.
it stand like firmly on your desk or whatever. And at the back, let me show you some other. There's like so many of these clips here. There we go. I think this one is cool. Maybe we'll see. Oh, there we go. I can show you this. So you connect it to the computer with an HDMI cable. So the HDMI cable goes into the PC to your graphic card, while at the other end is let me see if I can even find it. A mini HDMI. There's
Okay.
another.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't really prepare this. I should have maybe, but
Me neither.
Anyway, at the back, you're connecting the micro HDMI to the dongle here, to the device, and also a USB-C cable, which
Okay.
gives some power.
Okay. So USB-C. The USB-C is just for power.
Data as well, yeah.
Data as well. Okay. So
It's also
USB-C
data.
goes to your computer, and also there's
Right.
the HDMI connector.
Right. I'm trying to find a clip where I actually connected this thing, which is, as you can see at the back. I'm not sure if I showed you the back here. No, I didn't. There is a lid at the back. God, I thought I had the right clip, but and then you can open up the lid anyway, and then you just connect the cable back there. So it's basically two things that it's getting connected to, and then we have the receiver over here is super tiny. It's lightweight, basically. I didn't measure how much it weighs, but it's probably like 20 grams or something. So you really don't feel it on your head.
Okay, $299 and $250 for crystal owners.
Right. Now, let me just explain this. Now, 60G stands for 60 gigahertz, of course, the transmission rate. And now it is a line of sight transmission. So optimally, you need to put that device on top of your head, somewhere in your room, either on the wall and with a wall mount or on some kind of shelf up there. Which means that the device needs to see the receiver at all time. Basically, how TPcast was was operating. Oh, there we go. There we have the cables. By the way, there I found it. You see, here's the lid where you do remove it, and then you can just. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. There we go. You put in the mini HDMI cable there. And then you close it. It's actually pretty safe, so the cable don't get loose. And then you close it, and then you just connect the USB-C cable, and that's it basically.
Okay.
And now, so it's a line of sight, and but it's surprisingly well. It's working surprisingly well, I must say. It's something that I wasn't even
It's
expecting.
good that you are surprised about it, how well it works. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, really. I was actually. I sent you this clip like earlier today, but I can just put it on meanwhile while we're actually watching. So here I'm actually testing. I'm just going to pause for a second. Here I'm testing the WiGig module with the crystal. And I'm using my power. This is actually my private power bank I'm using normally for my Steam Deck. It's a G-Sauks 65 watt. You don't need that powerful one. But a lot of people have been asking, why is it connected to a power bank? And I might as well just answer that question right away before we get into any confusion. So this is just a power bank. And currently at this stage of testing, and still the device is still in final, like the late development stage. It does work more stable with a power bank plugged in. It doesn't have to be a 65 watt power bank. I think I actually did some measurements. I think it draws like 15 watts or something. It's basically 3 amps, 5 volts. So it's equals to 15 watt. But it makes it more stable. Although, I'm a very curious person, so I tried it without a power bank, and it works as well. I did not record it because I wasn't allowed to, because they say you should show it with a power bank for now. We'll see how this develops.
But you think for the final version, people will need a power bank or not?
That's a very good question. I've asked that already back in Shanghai, and they are working on several solutions. There might be a chance this won't need any power bank or any external extra power source at all, except for the battery at the back of the crystal, right? But there is also a chance or a risk or whatever that you might need some kind of power, either connected like this with a cable, or maybe just something attached to the headset at the back.
Okay.
So currently that's the design. I know it looks clumsy. It doesn't look so appropriate when having that cable over there. This was just mainly for testing to see the stability and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's how it is at the moment. But this is not a final, a device. It's not. I would say it's close to pre-production device. I would say. But there are still efforts made to improve the efficiency of the power draw.
Okay. So the power draw from the normal batteries that you have in the back of the crystal, it's simply not enough to power the device, or what is the problem?
It is enough, but there are occasions where it wasn't as stable. According to Robin and some of the engineers I spoke to, although, as I said, I tried it without a power bank and it worked. So I got super confused, and I was like, but wait, I can just use it. It doesn't matter if it only works for an hour or so, I can still use it. But they said that, no, use the power bank for now. And we'll give you new reports. We'll send you a sample soon, because I don't have this sample at home right now.
All right. Okay.
This was back in China, at the office, and that's and they're supposed to send me a sample pretty soon, and then I'm going to elaborate more about the power bank. Then I might also know if how important it is.
Got it.
Now, all I can say is from all this, as I told you in the beginning when we started to talk, this is the most exciting thing for me personally. I know it might sound weird because we have like a Crystal Super, we have a
Yeah.
Crystal Light coming out, and the OLED Micro-OLED version of Super. Now, this thing just brought me back to, what was it, like 2018 or
TPcast.
something? TPcast, yes.
I can
I've
remember your video. You were like the
Yes,
first guy who ever showed this, and you were amazed by it
yeah, and I still am today. And you know why? You know why?
because
Because
it's
I could
wireless.
not, yeah, and because it couldn't just, the TPcast, you could see at
It was
times at least,
amazing.
you actually, yeah, but you could see that, okay, well, I'm going wireless because there were some interference. There were sometimes the resolution got lower. There's some stuff like that. It wasn't as stable with the TPcast. This thing, I'm just saying, I'm honest with you right now. I did
Yeah.
not encounter any problems
Wow.
whatsoever with this thing. This thing is running in 2880 by 2880. It's running at 90 hertz. I was testing
Wow,
both
that's crazy.
72 hertz and 90 hertz.
Wow,
It's
that's cool.
barely any difference in latency or anything, 72 versus 90 hertz, although it's more smooth, of course, is in 90 hertz. So this was just something that got me so excited, like, sorry for my my words here, but holy crap,
Yeah.
I didn't even thought this was possible as of today with today's technology. And it is, and there is a reason for that, or I mean, there is a technical explanation for that. The WiGig module is using foveated transport and
Okay.
split rendering, which
Okay.
means it's utilizing the eye tracking and it's split rendering the image, so you get fovea areas which I couldn't see until I recorded the footage of my gameplay, and then I looked
Okay.
at the desktop view, and then I could see that in like
You have foveation there.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
just couldn't
cool.
notice it at all, which was just pretty amazing. Let me see if there's anything more here I want to show. But that's something I don't think many people were expecting this to happen this early. Of course, Pimax has been working on this for like 2.5 years, I think now, and there's been a lot of,
Feels like centuries.
yeah, it feels like a century, and
Yeah.
wireless here, wireless there, and we
Yeah.
promised the wireless for
But now
ATX.
here. But there, I know. But
It
here
is
it is.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw it at
Cool.
CES. I saw it at
Me
CES, of
too.
course. That was the first time I tried it actually at CES this
It
year.
was surprisingly good at CS already, I thought.
Yeah, but now it's just night and day. I just
Wow.
love this thing. I just wanted to have it at home right now because now it brings me back to the how fun it is to play those games. Except for, I mean, besides simulators and stuff, I still do. But I've stopped playing Beat Saber. I stopped playing a lot of those games probably because the lack of wireless solutions. And I think now I'm getting back to this now, which I love. I think that just it kind of woke me up again. It woke
Wow.
up my passion for mainstream VR games and stuff
Man,
like that.
I can totally remember how excited we both were.
Yeah,
About the TP cast, and you were crazy. You were making all kind of like tutorials, and it was amazing. Yeah, I can
yeah,
remember. I used your
yeah.
tutorial to set mine up. It was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and look, I want to add something here. We talked about the battery also and the power bank and stuff. I can tell you that I was using that 65 watt. It's actually here. This one. This is the. There are like 1,000 versions of 65-watt power banks. It's nothing special really with a USB-C and the USB-A ports. Now, when I was running the headset in WiGig mode together with the power bank, I think one of the days when I was recording quite a lot of things, I think I was running for like 4.5 or almost 5 hours
wow.
before the
Okay,
power bank ran out, and that was the bank running out, and not the crystal battery.
okay.
So
So you can use it
that's
a long time
yeah,
wirelessly.
that's also something I wasn't expecting. Of course, a power bank, maybe it's not the ideal solution to have in your pocket, and
Right.
but still it's not like a 1 hour 2 hour experience as far as I can tell. It was surprisingly
Okay.
efficient when it comes to with power draw, especially for the
But
crystal battery. Also, it's crazy.
right. That's really cool. But even having a power bank in your pocket, it is acceptable in my opinion. Like I'm doing it right now with the Apple Vision Pro, which I love,
Sure.
but I also thought like here with the power bank, but no, it's actually fine. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, in those videos you saw there, I mean, I didn't even attach the cable to anything. I mean, I didn't care. I was just there to really test the shit out of it. And as you saw, I was even laying around on the floor when doing a what's it called, the Half-Life Alex. I lay down on the floor just trying if I could actually break the signal at some point. And
But
I
you could not.
measured. Yeah, and no, I couldn't at any point of time. I had one crash of the PC for some reason, but that wasn't my PC. That was one of the office PC. It just completely blacked out. I thought it was the headset, but that was the PC just crashed once in like 4 days of testing or so, just with WireGig. I spent a lot of time
Okay.
with it. So yeah, it's a fascinating technology, and I'm
And I,
actually proud that Pimax is basically the first company coming up with something like this in terms of this resolution, this refresh rate, the full video
yeah,
transport, and
that's
all
even
that.
that's really cool, and that's even better at CES. At CES, it was just 60
Yeah,
hertz, right? But now you can do 90 hertz at full
yeah,
resolution, which is really, really cool.
yeah.
All right, so let's get into the questions part. I've just read the first question. How about if you have the new top strap for the Crystal? Can you still put the dongle there? Because there's now no more space, right? Because you have the new top strap here. Like, right? I'm also having the new top strap. Can you still attach
Uh,
the
yeah,
wireless?
if you have it that high, that much to the front, I think we're gonna need
Yeah, then no,
another
right?
clip-on thing because it's basically it's since this unit is so lightweight, it doesn't need much to get snapped into something. Um, so I assume there's going to be a solution. Maybe the top strap will have some modification or just some kind of plastic part. Because no,
Right,
I didn't
right.
even
But
consider
it's so
this. I
light,
didn't even
right?
consider this. Although
Yeah,
I'm using the top strap at home every day when I'm testing Crystal, but
it's good, right? I really like the new
it
top
does.
strap. It's
Yeah,
good.
but I think there will be. I know there will be a solution for that because the top strap is becoming really popular now. I've seen like
It's
really
great,
a lot of orders made on this thing, and it's a
right?
what is it like $20 thing, and it's really improves the comfort
Yeah,
overall. So there is going to be solution.
it
I
is.
wouldn't worry about that part.
So the wireless, the WiGig module, it needs the eye tracking, right? Because of the four-way
Yes,
transport.
yes. Now,
Okay, cool. It's great that you're using the
yeah,
technology.
I may be spoiling too much now because I have a video coming. Like it's going to be on the Pimax channel and on my channel as well, just like always. But here's the thing. Here's the fascinating part, which I wasn't expecting actually. Usually, when you connect a wireless headset to the PC, you manage it through the PC. Now here, the transmitter is connected, as I told you, with the HDMI and the USB. Then you turn on the Pimax client, and you just wait for a connection. Now, what I think is total news to all the people, and I think that will be the kind of the final solution, is that you go into the AIO mode of the headset. You're not in PCVR mode.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
Now
okay,
you enter the AIO mode. You do the room calibration, which is important anyway.
right.
And then once you're there, you just start one application, click, click 2 times, it connects. Pang, you're in VR, and you have the native resolution, everything. That was that fascinating because the standalone resolution is normally lower than 2880 times 2880, but then once it pops into the WiGig mode, it just brings you the full resolution. Like clearly, you cannot miss it. I mean, I went into the test HMD
Yeah,
application, the reload virtual environment, and really double check. Like, can I really read those smaller lines? No problem at all.
right.
So
Okay.
you do launch it through the AIO mode, and that might be the main reason for the WiGig module not to work on the Crystal Light and the Crystal Super upcoming headsets, which will not have it unless we find
Right.
a new solution. They're probably into a new solution anyway. Like Pimax is always into something, but as of right now, you started through AIO mode, so
Right.
which is quite
Okay.
cool. And then
So finally, it's useful for something that's standalone
yeah,
mode,
and
right?
then I could just show you if I just go. I hope I'm not dragging it for too long, but
No, it's
I'm just
okay.
going to change.
This is for enthusiasts.
It is. I think this brings more some value. There we go. No, it's not here. Sorry, I'm messing around here. It doesn't look pretty right now, but here we go. I'm just going to show a few seconds. I'm not allowed to show too much here. This is recorded on one of the office's PC. Now here's Pimax client, and now when I go into the WAGIG mode, is it even running? Yeah, it actually connects within like 5 seconds. So I started to record a little bit earlier, of course. There we go. And then it goes into Pimax WAGIG mode. And all the settings you had before in Pimax client are there, like device settings, all the options for resolution, all that stuff. So you can actually manually adjust most of them, at least, including the local dimming and stuff. So it basically looks like you're connected with a cable on your PC. It says Pimax WAGIG. I guess it's going to say Pimax Crystal WAGIG or whatever later on. But this is how it looks as of now, at least. So yeah. So I just wanted to show you that, because it might come as news. It is probably news to most of you that it's not really going through PCVR mode, because
Yeah, right. That is news, and so that might be the reason why in the supermodels there is no possibility for that WAGIG
Right.
module. Yeah, but who knows? Probably can come up with something, like Pimax does come up with things.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah,
the thing.
okay.
Like with the tracking, for instance. I mean, with the tracking,
Yeah.
we haven't started to talk about the Crystal Light
We
and
will.
Crystal Super, but the
Very
tracking, the
soon.
new tracking system, which basically is identical to the inside-out
Wow.
tracking.
I'm so glad. That's a big question on
Yeah.
my mind, but we'll talk about this in a
Cool.
moment. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for the picture quality, I can also tell you, like what I saw at CS, I could not see a difference from cabled, which is crazy, right? For
Actually,
WAGIG,
at
for
CS,
WAGIG.
we were running a RAW resolution. Now we're not. So now it is 2880 by
Wow.
2880, and you can super sample in Steam VR and do whatever. But you have to remember, it is a foveated transport with split rendering. So the foveated areas,
Yeah.
this has to be done in a specific way to actually, fit into the bandwidth limits of
I got it.
what WiGig is capable of, or 60G Airlink, as we wanted to call it. So of course there has to be some kind of technology made, otherwise it wouldn't fit.
Right. Of course, it's some kind of magic, yeah, that
Yeah.
works there. So, how about the latency? When I was trying
No.
it at CES, how about now?
No latency issues at all. There was one. Okay, I'm going to be totally honest here, as I'm always, but I just want to point this out. When I was playing, I showed you earlier the gameplay of a few games with WiGig, and there was one game which was table tennis, where I don't know if it's the game or if it's the WiGig solution stuff, but I could notice that I wasn't fast enough. Maybe I'm getting too old now or something, because I found it really hard to play that game. But with
Okay.
Beat Saber, with Box VR, which are pretty fast paced, with a pistol whip, no problems whatsoever. It really, you kind of tend to forget after a few seconds that you are
Yeah.
wireless. It's amazing. I'm just fascinated. I
You
could
like
talk
it.
about the WiGig thing all night, because
Yeah.
this is my main event for right now.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it's cool. I also really enjoyed it at CES, and I was also surprised how good it is. That's what I said in my video. I'm surprised how good this works.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So WiGig is coming in Q3. It's going to cost $299, which is a
Right.
good price in my opinion. I can remember the HTC one was like 400 plus, which was very expensive. But for Crystal owners, and it is for Crystal owners, it's $250.
Yeah,
So
it's great. It's a great opportunity for Crystal owners, but who else is going to use it except for Crystal owners?
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
so
right.
yeah, it's $250. Yeah, that's
Okay,
basically the
cool.
price.
Nice. Okay, I think if there aren't any more questions for the 60 gigahertz WiGig, then we would go for the next topic. Let's just see if there's any questions.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
don't think
still-
there were anything
There's
more.
still-
I'm trying to look at my
Yeah.
sheet here if
Can
I
I-
had anything on
Can I
WiGig.
still set up things in the software for the WiGig? So
Yes.
can you can still set stuff up?
Yes, that was what I showed you a moment ago. I think you
Yeah.
saw it when I had the Pimax PC client up. I didn't go into the settings then. I did so when testing Crystal Light. You can see that later on. But you can basically change most of this, basically all of the settings which you can normally on the Crystal.
Okay.
Although you cannot, of course, you cannot turn off the FOVID areas because that's a part of the FOVID transport split rendering technique. So that has
Okay.
to be applied before the image actually is transferred to the receiver.
Right.
So you cannot turn off DFR or the version of DFR which is using.
Got it. We got a question from Berlin, from Alexander in Berlin. When can people actually, Berlin is a nice city, we know. When can people actually pre-order or order the device, the WiGig module?
Hey, Alex, nice to see you again. I was chatting with Alex earlier.
Okay, good.
Now, as far as I can tell, the orders for the WiGig should have been up
Oh, really?
already.
But the
Yeah,
Pimax
I mean
website
not
was
orders,
down.
but the
The reservation, okay.
reservations. I'm not sure if maybe it's going to be pretty soon because it's going to start shipping in third quarter of this year. And I mean, as I said already, it's in such a late development stage now. It's working so well already now, so I don't see any reason for
Okay.
further delays unless there is some supply issues or whatever World War III starts or so. but as of now, it looks like we are on schedule. But I'm not sure why I cannot find it. I thought I saw it here earlier. It is
Okay.
supposed to be available for reservations at least.
Yeah.
As you know, the Crystal Light is already for pre-orders, while the Crystal Super is for reservation.
Right.
We only charge like $1 for the Super reservations, and that should be the same for the WiGig as far as I heard. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll get back regarding this. We'll see
Right.
if my colleagues, if some of them is still up and they can actually respond to this. We'll
Got
see
it.
that in a moment. I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, then I have my own question. Can I use the WiGig module with Lighthouse tracking?
Yes.
Okay, wow, cool.
Yes, it's actually it was pretty funny because they said that it was like when I was supposed to record, they were like, "Oh, maybe you want to use the Lighthouse module." And the Lighthouse module, I don't know if you noticed that on those clips which I showed you earlier. The Lighthouse module was on, but it wasn't active.
Okay.
It wasn't enabled
Right. I
in
got it.
PC
I
Client.
got it.
Yeah, because they thought that maybe the tracking will be even more stable. But I couldn't find any issues with the tracking. I mean, of course, inside-out tracking will never be perfect compared to Lighthouse tracking, especially if you pull a controller back there, and
Right.
it's all up to the algorithms to determine where your controller is once you get it back, right? But other than that, it's working really great with inside out. But yes, Lighthouse tracking will be working as well.
That is good news. All right. So the 60 gigahertz WiGig module finally coming up, and it's going to happen in Q3 in this year. Perfect. Now let's talk about the next product, and I must tell you, in my opinion, that is the big deal for me, at least. In my opinion, the Pimax Crystal Light is the huge thing. It's the Pimax Crystal how it should have been in the first place, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many more people. So let me just sum it up again. What is the Pimax Crystal Light? It is basically a stripped down version of the Pimax Crystal that keeps the PCVR and leaves all of the standalone stuff behind, as in the battery. You're not forced to use any battery anymore because there is no battery. It is simply a PCVR headset with a DisplayPort cable. Yes, we love DisplayPort. I love DisplayPort. I love it.
Yep.
And then there is no XR2 chipset in the device, right? Because you don't need it for the standalone anymore. There's no heatsink anymore because you don't need to cool down that chip. It is great. And there's no eye tracking. Okay. So that is like one thing that is probably missing for some people. But it is exactly the headset that many people were hoping for. And now you're giving it to them. And the amazing thing is truly, in my opinion, the price. $699 is just like, wow, it is really so cheap. It's insane. Like, finally, I can make YouTube titles with insane in the title, and it's true. Like, the price is insane. The price is great. It's truly such an aggressive price where I think it's really tough for Pimax to earn any money because it still has the same 2880 by 2880 QLED displays in them, right? It still has
Same lenses.
it has
same,
aspheric lenses, which are great, and
Yeah.
I have already prepared them here because I like them
Yeah.
so much. Here they are, right? It's
Yeah.
the aspheric glass lenses, and they are making this incredibly sharp picture. I love the picture of the crystal, and now more people will be able to afford the device because
Yeah.
$699 is such a big difference to the thousand. What was it? 1,600 or what it was before. So this is truly amazing. Yeah, wow. Like this is, in my opinion, the big deal because many people who had the Reverb G2 and were waiting for the Reverb G3, they did not want to have the Pimax Crystal because of the battery stuff. But
Yeah, the
now,
battery and also the price, of course.
and the price, It was truly like a very high price. But $699, this is basically such a good price that many people will buy it who have the Reverb G2 before, and it's a great upgrade.
Yeah.
So the only question that was still on my mind: how good is the tracking? Because now you're not using the XR2 chipset anymore, right?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you're using your own chip. I don't know what it is. So how is the tracking? You've already answered it, but say it again because that makes me very happy.
No, here's the thing. There is a new how do you say PCVR chipset built into the Crystal Light. It's basically a different PCB now. It doesn't even need any cooling, like active or passive cooling. It basically is passive cooling, but there are some details which I can cover later on. But the tracking is basically perfect. It's
Wow.
perfect as the crystal is providing.
Okay.
with
As good as
inside out.
before, that was already really good. Like in the beginning, the crystal tracking was not so good, but you really improved it a lot.
Yeah. No,
So-
really. Yeah. Over the past year, I mean, there's been so much improvements, so many updates and coming with the tracking, and some of them were like shockingly good compared to what it was before. And now all of that, because the new tracking system is based on the same algorithms. It's moved away from the XR2, so it's not the XR2 Snapdragon which is
Right.
powering it and driving it, but it's on the PC side instead. It doesn't add any latency. It doesn't add any other issues, as far as I can tell. At least I haven't seen any sort of differences between the tracking you have on the crystal that you have on the Crystal Light, which did surprise me because I was warned before I got to the office, like a week or so. They're like, "Oh, okay, we'll see. We're still improving the tracking." And then I came there and I was like, "Holy!" It's like it's really working as it's supposed to. So
Wow.
you know, it's not always like this when you try a new product, especially a pre-production unit.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, sometimes
Normally the tracking always sucks.
Yeah, there's always something that sucks.
Yeah.
But with the Crystal Light, this is actually the first time. I have to admit, you know me, I've been working for Pimax for 5 years. Every time I try a new product, which I haven't tested before, there's always something
Some
which
problems.
I find like, and then I, keep nagging on Robin and all those engineers, like, please fix it. And they're just working their ass off like day and night to get it fixed. But this time I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
It just works as a crystal, and there's no battery. There's no eye tracking. There are some missing features which I'm also gonna add into the video. The video is finished. It's we'll see when it's published. It's probably published this week, which it goes into detail on what's removed and not. There are some USB-C ports removed and stuff like that.
Okay.
Apart from the eye tracking. And the WiGig support, of course, the micro HDMI cable and input is gone. But the tracking itself is just, I cannot really complain about it.
I'm so glad to hear it. So is it like you basically took the same algorithms for tracking and now just the computer does it instead of the XR2 chipset? Okay.
Sure. If you put me on the full screen again, I'll just try to show you this quickly here. Let me know when you're done. I don't see. There you go. I'm going to just put it on. This is me. This is part of the video, which is about to be published in a couple of days. So I'm playing some Pavlov. I'm playing some other games. And this is all running on Crystal Light, the pre-production model. Now, why I'm saying pre-production, the unit is basically finished. All the features are there. There's nothing missing really, except for the fact that the housing is going to get some polish, and I will show you that in a second. There are some things such as the micro HDMI port, which is there's an empty hole for it. You know, there's
Right.
no. You see over here, it's Crystal Light. It's running. The tracking is
Well,
just
the
awesome.
tracking
Even
looks
though
good.
when
The tracking looks great.
it's great. It's just like on the Crystal. Now,
Wow.
as I said, there are some the holes for the USB-C which are not removed yet, and
Yeah.
it's I'm not going to say it's perfect tracking, because inside out tracking, I don't think inside out tracking will ever be perfect.
But it's already
But
pretty good, right? I
but
mean,
it's
what we're getting right
yeah,
now
it's
with
just
Quest is good, and
right.
also like with the Crystal, it's good.
It's it is the crystal tracking, which I wasn't really expecting. So it's
Yeah.
it's a big leap, I think. And now it's kind of like with the battery, we get rid of the XR4, which in many ways were a good thing, but there are also things which made it.
XR2.
I mean, the XR2 chipset, which made it a little bit more complicated and more
Yeah.
expensive, of course, for us to have. Now, in fact, I don't think any of our upcoming headsets are going to have the XR2 chipset anymore.
Right. Okay.
Spoiler alert, not even the 12K.
Okay. I'm like,
I
yeah.
will come to that. We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm really happy that the tracking is good, because this was
yeah,
really the last thing that was on my mind. Like, okay, hopefully they don't fuck this up. But this is
yeah,
really great news. So, for $699, many people will pick this up as a replacement for their Reverb G2 and also for their
yeah,
Index, I believe, because it's still compatible with the Lighthouse module. If you want, you can slap the Lighthouse module on it, and so on and so forth. Then you had a nice slide in the presentation where you show how much lighter it got. 60
yeah,
60 gram lighter in the back and like a 250 gram lighter in the front. So I really like the comfort of the Crystal, and I hated it when people said like, "Oh, I'm going to break my neck." It's not true, but
yeah,
you could feel the weight without a
yeah,
doubt. So
yeah.
how much better does it feel with 360 grams less?
Yeah, I can tell you, I have a whole chapter about this in the upcoming video. But to spoil a little bit, I was it to me it felt weird at first, when lifting. No,
It's too
here's the
light.
thing. Yeah, no, it just
It's
feels it's wrong. And it's kind of like when you're lifting up, like, let's say this thing, and you expect it to be full of coffee and it's empty. It's like, oh
yeah,
shit. It kind of felt the same way when I first lifted it up from the box,
yeah.
because
It feels like very substantial like this, right? It's very substantial.
but it doesn't feel. I wouldn't say it feels like plastic and cheap all of a sudden. It's just lighter. And
Yeah,
also, what I love about some of the aspects of being lighter is that so many components have been removed, such as the rubber cable on top, which is one of those things I kind of didn't like with the Crystal, even though Crystal is still my go-to headset these days, because of the eye tracking. But yeah, the rubber thing, the what was it more? The heat sinks and the fans are gone inside. All of that will be covered in that video. So it makes it way more lighter. And of course, the battery, which on itself is like 150 or 200 grams or something. So I'm probably not supposed to say it, because I did test a couple of different identical pre-production units of the Crystal Light, which are basically final, but housing is still not final. And I put them on the scale, and I wasn't supposed to say this, but it's around 800 grams, like kind of 800 grams,
okay, okay.
which is
800.
a
Yeah,
huge difference compared to the Crystal, which
yeah.
is around 1,100 something.
1.1 kilogram. So it's
Yeah,
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 it's like 300 grams lighter. So yeah, that
yeah,
makes 300 grams. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although
Well.
I have to add, though, that this was with the SMAS speakers, the included SMAS speakers,
Oh yeah.
which are in fact way better now. I mean, I remember you hating those, and
Yeah.
I did
I
hate
hated
those
a
as
lot of
well.
them. I
Yeah,
hated on them a
no,
lot.
yeah. Actually, if you, I really recommend you to one day just put them on
Try them.
again.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
with the
try them
latest updates,
recently. I just tried them in the very beginning.
you should try them now,
Again.
because it's
Okay.
the volume is good. I mean, of course, you're not going to get the same bass, because laws of physics, right? But but it's still way better than it was in the beginning,
Wait, the laws
especially
of
like
physics, they apply to Pimax as well?
they do.
Okay, but
And I do.
so
Oh, while we're talking about the comfort, they do apply to. I mean, laws of physics do apply to the comfort. This is exactly the words I'm mentioning in my video, and that is like when you have the crystal light on and you shake your head like super fast, I recorded that to show that it's way less wobbling.
Okay, that's
But
good.
it's, of course, but it's not weightless. Okay, so it's
Yeah, so it's
you will
still wobbling a
still
bit.
a little bit, but it's way better now, because
Okay.
before that was like an, like an afterburner thing, like afterwards,
Yeah.
like it kept wobbling for like a second or something. But
Yeah.
now
That
it's
was the
now
main,
it's
right. That was actually, in my opinion, one of the main concerns with the comfort, this wobbling.
yeah,
You know, there's so much mass, and mass, according to the laws of physics, it wants to keep on continuing the
yeah,
movement that it does, right? So
it is.
you move then, and it still wants to go there, and then you have to put it back.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's good that it's lighter, so you'll have a bit of less of this kind of problem.
yeah.
Right. So I'm looking forward to try it out. But the feeling that something was wrong, it went away when you were wearing it. So it was better. Yeah.
You mean which part of it? You mean the
Because you said like when you picked it up, it felt wrong because it
No,
was so.
it just felt unnatural because I lifted it up, and I
Ah,
use
yeah.
the crystal so much, and
I
I'm
got
used
it.
I know exactly,
Same here.
my body, my hands know exactly how much it weighs, and then I see a unit which kind of looks identical to the crystal,
Right.
except for the top strap, uh, and then you just lift it up and you just feel lighter. It's like something is missing on this thing, like. So yeah, those 300 grams or whatever, it does make a huge difference to the comfort, and especially also weight balance. I do have that. I'm not going to show it now on the video, but I do have it in the video when I'm actually holding up the headset. It feels way more front to back balance now. It just
Okay.
doesn't feel like it's going to go down on the front side
Right.
anymore.
Right. Like the Apple Vision Pro, it goes like this, like directly.
Yeah, but yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it's different. It's a different headset, but okay,
it
cool.
is.
So how about the audio? So again, you said like it's better. Is it like Quest 2 or Quest 3, or is it something like this?
I haven't spent that much time with the Quest 3 to do
Okay.
that comparison, but I would definitely say, I mean, are you saying with the S Mass or the D Mass? S Mass, I
The
assume.
S Mass, the cheaper one.
Yeah, it's getting very close to Quest 2, I would say. I mean, in my
Okay.
opinion, some people might
Okay.
think differently. Some people might
Oh,
love it. Some people might hate it. I still do prefer the D Mass all day long, because it's the D Mass
yeah, DMS is good.
gives me more
Just like
bass, and
Index.
yeah, it doesn't give me necessarily more volume anymore, because both of them are way improved than they were before. But the bass, the frequency range is wider on the DMAS. So this is also something. If I would personally, as an enthusiast, not as a Pimax employee, I would just say, like, go for the DMAS audio.
Yeah, right.
Even
Makes
if
sense.
even if you're trying to make it, going on a budget and doing the Crystal Light purchase, go with the DMAS. I would say it depends how much you value audio compared to the image quality, because there's another choice, of course. If you add another $200, you get the local dimming to the Crystal Light, which in my opinion also is quite a big deal. Not for everyone, I guess, but for me it's a big deal. So, but yeah, DMAS audio is preferred, I would say, yeah.
Right,
But
right.
this also,
It makes sense.
DMAS audio was a big achievement for Pimax, and also
Yeah.
it's licensed with the DTS certification and stuff. So it's not something we can just give away
Right.
for this price, in this
I got
price
it.
range. So that was
Got
the
it.
reason it had to stay as an accessory, just like on the Crystal.
Right. So 699 version is without the mini LED, so without the local dimming. $899 is still a great price if you want to have local dimming. So
Yeah.
have you tried the version with local dimming or without?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had both.
Yeah.
The versions on my office desk when I was there for days,
Tell us,
basically like
tell us the
almost a
difference.
week. No, there is no difference really. Like the difference, you can tell the difference yourself if you. Of course, there's a difference, but
Yeah, there
the
should be a
panels.
difference, though.
No, no, no. I'm saying that the panels are identical.
Yeah, they're the
It's all
same, right?
it's identical resolution, exact same panel manufacturer, everything. It's only the backlight which is not uniformly like one big backlight on the cheap version, and then you have the local dimming backlight which has zones, like what is it,
Right.
like 500 something zones,
Right.
which can turn on and off. So this brings a little bit better colors, like more popping colors, but mainly it's there to produce the black levels, the
Right.
blacks, the true black levels when you're playing dark games, simulators, horror games, and such. So if you are playing a lot of these things like flying at night or playing horror games, dark games, yes, I would say local dimming is a must
Right.
have. It is a big difference after all, even though
Okay.
the QLED panels have a pretty nice, I mean, they're better than the old LCD versions on the 8KX and the 8K 5K Super, but you'll never get the blacks without local dimming with the QLED screen. So yeah, that it's
Okay.
all. Here's the thing: if you play Beat Saber all day long, I don't think it's a necessity to have local dimming. If you play like Half-Life Alex, yeah, maybe. If you play horror games, if you fly at
Then
night,
yes.
if you watch movies, then yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, local dimming. You just need it.
Right.
And but I can tell you this: it sounds a lot. It's $200. It is a lot of money, but I'm not. I'm probably not supposed to say this, but more than more than half of that cost is something Pimax has to pay for that local dimming. So if
Okay.
$200 is a lot, it's a significant amount of that money goes to just swap the panels, or not swap the backlight for the panels.
Right.
Not swap, but use that version. So it's not like we're making a big profit or margin on the QLED version. It's a little bit higher margin maybe, but it's not much at all.
Okay. The
It
mini
is a
LED,
very, yeah,
the mini LED version. Yeah.
mini LED backlight. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, people also played with LCD panels before and loved it, like the Reverb G2. It is not even QLED, right? And
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
people enjoyed that. It was not perfect blacks. So I'm
Yeah.
still thinking the 699 version will be good enough for many people. And you know,
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to really to try both of them out and to compare them here on the channel and to let my viewers know what I think, which version is good for
You see,
them.
I think it's the same thing as with many other things. As long as you're not, if you've been playing with an OLED headset or with some kind of local headset which already has local dimming, and then you go back,
Yeah,
that's a
I
difficult
know.
thing because
It's
it's really hard to go from a Ferrari to a Toyota or something. You know, it's
yeah,
it's but if you stick to your Toyota and you buy a new Toyota, you're going to be completely, you're going to be fine with that.
right.
It's that would, maybe that's a bad example, but still it's a thing you don't necessarily need to have, but once you test it a
I
few
totally
times
get it. I
you
totally
get
agree
used.
with you. Just like
Yeah,
if you're looking at a 4K screen all day, right,
yeah,
and then it's suddenly tough to look at your 1080p screen, even though
yeah,
you loved it before. It's just like
sure,
this.
sure.
Okay, okay. So $699. It sounds like just such a good price for these panels.
Yeah,
Is there still enough margin for Pimax to sustain itself?
well, very little, yeah, I mean, obviously, a company has to make money to survive, so I wouldn't worry about that part. But yeah, we're not making huge margins,
Yeah,
despite the fact that we have those factories in Shanghai and stuff. But it is a great price indeed. But I think the market is the industry and the society these days is pretty rough. You know, people tend to not have the same amount of money
it's
to spend
it
these
is.
days. I
It
can
is.
feel that every day. You know, I get a salary every month, and I feel that I cannot afford as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, I think buying a VR headset for $1,500, $2,000 is not, it's not a no-brainer anymore as it was maybe like pre-COVID and pre all these wars and stuff going on.
Not at
So
all.
and the inflation first of all. So it's I yeah, it's I, we
It's
have
great
to,
to have this option. Really,
yeah,
it's
to
really
be
great.
able to be attractive on the market. That's what I'm trying to say. To be able to be attractive on the market, you have to be aggressive with the pricing, and
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. I mean, we do have competitors, you know that. I mean, we also have in Somnium Space now coming with the VR1 and stuff. And I mean, I totally. I mean, I would like to add that. I mean, they're probably watching Arthur and Marek. I mean, I congratulate them for their success. I mean, it's going to be pretty awesome headset, but I also understand the difficulties to produce something in Europe and make it
It's
cost
incredible.
effective.
It's crazy. It's
It's
crazy tough.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy tough. So I actually admire their efforts doing this. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
great effort doing it.
I also totally understand their pricing. It just makes sense.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, it
makes sense.
does.
It's just expensive
Yeah,
to make such a high end headset.
yeah.
Yeah. So also for
But
me,
then,
greetings to Prague.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. They're great. I mean, both Arthur and Marek are great friends of mine, and you too, of course. So, I mean, I'm happy we have this competition. Competition is great. I'm not specifically only talking about VR1 and Somnium Space, but all the other brands. I mean, we have Vario,
Absolutely.
all of them.
Uh,
It's great because
It's
that pushes the
no.
innovation. It pushes the companies
Absolutely.
to.
I totally agree. Like every single player in PC VR, I'm grateful for them. I love
Yeah,
it that Somnium is doing the VR one.
yeah,
You know, I love it
yeah, yeah.
that Vario is there with the
Sure,
XR4. You know,
sure.
like every single one. I really don't want to discount anything,
Yeah.
anyone, right? And you know what? There's also some some pros, some advantages for doing things in Europe, right?
You
Like
know, here's
that's the point. Like I'm grateful for all these companies.
there's a headset for everyone today. I mean, we have
Yeah.
the Quests, we have the Picos, we have the Pimaxes, the whatever Valve is coming with soon, probably also, and the VR1, the
There's
XR4.
more
They-
coming.
And
There's more
if you can
coming.
afford, some people just can't afford a Ferrari, some don't, and we have to place ourselves into a segment of the market where we can sell enough of headsets to survive and make it to the next generation. And I think we're actually broadening that audience now with the Crystal Light, because now we're in the territory of Valve Index G2 and all those in the price range, although we are delivering a product which is way ahead technical, I mean specification wise. It's the Crystal experience for half the price, or is it less
Yeah.
even? It's
It's
kind of
less.
crazy.
It's really insane. I should make a
Yeah,
video. The new Pimax Crystal Light is insane.
yeah. And
That's
once you put it on your head, once you put it on your head and you don't use, I mean, if you're used to have let's say you're playing the digital combat simulator or Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're kind of dependent on the eye tracking a lot, because you get way better frame, especially with all those techniques, whatever quad views and stuff. But if you're
right.
just playing other games that don't necessarily need the eye tracking, you won't you won't even see the difference at all. You won't even notice the difference, and you're paying $6.99 for a headset,
Yeah.
which basically gives you the Crystal
Experience.
17.99
Yeah.
experience. Yeah,
That's
which is pretty
crazy.
insane. It's only like a year after. What is it, like 1 year and 3 months after Crystal launch?
Yeah.
Which is great. But I have to just add this, because I've seen, even from the Pimax side, I've seen some worries, because I see a lot of tendency that they're afraid of, not afraid, but they're worried about what Crystal owners might think. Now, from my perspective, I'm an enthusiast myself, and I'm totally dedicated. I'm totally like into the Crystal still, and for me, the Crystal, despite its price, even though of course I haven't paid for a Crystal since I work for Pimax, but I would still pay the
You have
price
paid
for a Crystal.
differently.
Indeed, but no, but I'm just saying I would still pay for a Crystal to get that eye tracking,
Right.
and especially now to get that WiGig capability with the wireless module, because that's something that's huge, that's
The
massive.
the WiGig
Uh,
module finally makes the Pimax Crystal like a full headset, in my opinion.
yes,
Because finally you can really use that standalone mode. Before it was
yeah,
just sitting there and you were unhappy that you paid so much for it that you don't need it. But now
yeah,
it really makes it a full headset that still
yeah.
that still can be sold on its own right.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
it's so the Crystal Light is not in any way a replacement of the Crystal. The Crystal is not getting discontinued. I mean, at some point it might be, when the Crystal Super has been out for a year or so, whatever. Then of course people will probably move on to the new 3840 times 3840 panels. But as of now, I would still say the Crystal is the top-notch thing, especially because of these aspects. The Of course, you get the local dimming. I mean, there is no version without local dimming. Then the WiGig capability for just $250, and then of course eye tracking. And if you're a
right.
pilot, or like a flight simulator pilot, or do stuff that benefits from the eye tracking, it's a no-brainer to still get the Crystal. And they're still going to get the same updates. It's still based on the same platform, basically, all of the same lenses, the same panels, and all that. So it's not like anyone is abandoning Crystal, really.
And honestly, yeah.
I just wanted to... Sorry, go on.
Okay. And if you think about it, we are enthusiasts, right? And to pay like 1,600, 1,700 for such a device, which is exactly our hobby, is not so expensive. Other people have other hobbies like cars, where they have to pay like 50,000 without a problem, right?
I had photography as a hobby back in the days. I could spend more than $2,000 on one single lens, for my camera. I had like 6 or 7 of them.
Exactly, so just the lens, the single lens can be this price.
Yeah, although I mean, I cannot afford that anymore since I have kids and stuff. But I still evaluate the things. If I really have a hobby which I'm totally dedicated to, I would still go for the premium option, the premium, where you get the full package, basically.
It makes sense.
That's why I think. I don't think anyone should count out the Crystal, especially now with the Y-Gig. And since eye tracking is getting more and more implemented, there are so many solutions now with the OpenXR and the quad views and whatnot. So there's going to be more benefits coming for Crystal users. So if anyone out there is actually sitting there, just bought the Crystal, and it's like, holy crap, I should have bought the Light now, and I could have got it for half the price. Well, yes, you could, but on the other hand, you would miss out quite a lot depending on what you're doing.
Right.
And I don't think that so many people, after all, buy the Crystal just to play Beat Saber. I just don't see that happening. The Crystal, I'm not talking about the Crystal Light. Now with the Light, they might do that.
Perhaps. Because
it's more of a mainstream priced headset. But $15.99, $17.99, or whatever the Crystal costs, it's just too much for the average Joe, just playing some Half-Life Alyx or Pavlov or something. So I don't see the point why people would get like buyer's remorse now for getting the Crystal a couple of months ago, or just like yesterday or something.
I'm so surprised. Pimax has made so many good decisions with the Light. I'm not used to that, Like normally it's like there's some kind of decision which is like strange. But this time everything makes sense. It makes sense to leave the eye tracking out because
why?
Because it does not devaluate the Crystal.
Yeah, but you know why? They have been listening. We have been listening quite a lot, and Robin has been specifically listening because he's the man in charge, and Robin with Nordic, and they have seen the people's input, what the Crystal should have been from start, maybe, and of course we do have that. Yeah, of course we do have that small problem with the battery. I mean, you have to use a battery with the Crystal, although it has almost been eliminated, the problem, since you can use it for 5 hours straight without changing the battery. But we should have maybe released a Crystal Light earlier, just to make people choose, give them a choice. But it's not too late. That's the funny thing. It's still like top-notch resolution. It's still the best lenses out there, I would say, in my opinion. So it's a great option. It's great that there are 2 options now.
Right.
And then we're not even touching this super topic.
We're going to get to that very soon. So so very good decisions, and you can order it right now, I think, and you're going to send it out end of May, it said in the Okay.
Yeah, the first, I think it's first 2 batches are going to be in end of May. It's going to be, of course, as always, I'm not going to lie to you, as always, there are going to be limited batches of 500 or 1,000 units or something. But the batches comes pretty quickly
fast
after. Pretty fast. So it takes like 2 weeks maybe, and then there's another batch of 1,000 or whatever units, and so on. So it's going to escalate pretty quickly.
Okay,
and it is, as I told you,
more people will want
the
to
units
buy it.
I've been I hope people will buy it, and I'm pretty sure people will buy it, especially people who are looking for an alternative. I mean, for an upgrade from the G2.
I'm telling you, and I love the G2, and people bought it because of me.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I love it. I still love the headset. Yeah, but this is a great upgrade if everything is just like you say, and I believe you. Yeah. So
And also, I mean, there's so many people still sitting with a Valve Index.
right,
There are
right.
people sitting with HTC Vive Pro. There are still actually people sitting with an HTC Vive original. There's like
It
thousands of
was a great
people.
headset.
It was a great headset. There was nothing wrong with it except for the low resolution. But
Right.
we didn't at that point. It was the best you could get. So now there is an option, $699 if you just skip that local dimming,
Yeah, it's fine,
and
I think.
you get like a massive upgrade for basically less than you paid for the original Oculus Rift. Even the Valve Index, I think, was more expensive, especially if you need to bundle those, base stations and controllers and all that stuff. Here it's all included.
Right, right.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so wow, many exciting facts about the Crystal Light. Now I want to open the questions for the community for the Crystal Light. Are there any questions that you have? And the first question is the lighthouse faceplate of Crystal compatible with the Super? No, we're not talking about the Super now. Now it's about the Light.
It will be, yeah.
But it will be. Okay, good. So
As far as I understand, it will be, because there's going to be a way to run lighthouses with the Crystal Super. I know we're jumping topics here, but I know the housing will be slightly changed on the Super, though it's going to be smaller. So I am reserving myself about that
okay.
lighthouse front plate, but there's going to be a lighthouse front plate for it anyway.
Right. Do we have any questions from the community about Crystal Light? Now is your chance to ask Crystal Light questions. I believe I have asked all my questions, because for me the main point was how's the tracking. So okay, if it's great, it just seems to be a no-brainer to get this headset, really, for many people.
Yeah, the resolution is the same. The refresh rate's 120 hertz. There's also, in the presentation, you saw something about 60 hertz, which will be also included. Added to the Crystal as well, not only Crystal Light. But that firmware update will come pretty soon before the Crystal Light launches. So both of the headsets will have 60 hertz as well. A lot of people, you might think it's 60 hertz. Who's going to play in 60 hertz? But it's really, really useful in simulators, especially like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Right.
So 60 hertz is great.
Okay.
So that's going to be supported. 60, 72, 90, and 120 hertz at full resolution, of course.
Okay.
So
Tom asked, will there be a bundle with a DMAS and local dimming?
Eventually, yes. As of right now, I don't think we have it. I think you can actually add it. I'm not sure. No, you cannot add it to the pre-order. You can buy it separately from the store or any other retailer. But there should be. I actually said that myself to Robin, that there should be an alternative, maybe with a small discount or something, like instead of paying, with the DMS. So we'll see about that.
Would make sense.
I highly recommend that audio solution DMS. It's great for all these headsets, even the 8KX and the previous generations.
Will there ever be a Crystal Light Pro with eye tracking? Probably no. I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, a lot of the cost which we cut from with the Light from the Crystal was the eye tracking. Okay. It's eye tracking, it's the cameras, it's all of that stuff and licenses, and there is a lot into it. And then the standalone part, and there were many things which were cut out, but I think eye tracking was the most costly, the main part which reduced the cost. So I don't think it would kind of be like releasing a 4070 Ti between a 4070 and a 4080. Nvidia still does that, but we don't. I don't think nobody bothers. And how are we going to price it? Are we going to price it at $1,200? Right. That makes no sense, really. So I don't think so.
Okay, we have a user with a 4060 Ti with 60 gigabyte. How well will it handle the Crystal Light? And that's a good question, because you can also talk about the fixed forwarded rendering 2.0. What is the difference? So tell us about it.
The fixed forwarded rendering 2.0 is not something I've tested yet. I have seen some sheets and some short presentation of what it's supposed to do. It's more customizations. It's going to be more like an implemented way, just like you see in the OpenXR toolkit and stuff. You can do more settings. It's going to be there are more ways to change those forwarded areas and stuff. There's going to be more ways to improve the frame rates. Yes.
Right.
But as the person just asked, 4060 Ti, that's very close to the 4070. Actually, there were two computers at the office which I were using almost the entire week with the Crystal Light, and that was a 4070, RTX 4070, which is not far off from the 4060 Ti. And I can tell you that I had no real problems to play most games. But then if we're talking Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Right. Then you want to have 4080 for sure, right?
yeah, 4080, 4090 even.
4090 for
You
sure.
know,
For
here's the
sure.
thing. Here's a funny thing. I'm going to show you. Since you mentioned the, let me just try to find that first before I. There we go. Since you mentioned the FFR,
Yeah.
I'm going to just try to bring it up. That's something also from the video we're going to post. Let me just change. There we go. There we go. This is a test I just made at the office while I was at it with the Crystal Light. And I only turn on the fixed foveated rendering 1.0, the current version of fixed foveated rendering. And to my surprise, it gave around 25 to 27% in frame rate increase. The same resolution, same settings, same everything. All I did was to turn on the fixed foveated rendering. And it was aggressive, yes, but it still provides a fully sharp image in the middle, while the edges, you can probably tell that from the video, that at the fovea areas in the peripheral view, it's more jagged. I was recording this on a 1080p screen, so everything looks a little bit jagged. But as you can tell, it was pretty clear in the headset. So as you see, it's like 42 frames per second or something versus 54, 55 or something. 56 versus 44 actually on average. So that is quite a huge difference, I would say. If you ask me.
Right.
So yes, it's fixed foveated rendering does quite a lot. It's not going to be as efficient as some other techniques, such as the quad views for a digital combat simulator,
Right.
for instance, with the eye tracking. That's on a completely different level. It's crazy how much performance you gain from that. But no, with the Crystal Light, you can still do some pretty serious VR gaming, even on a 4060 or something, without any issues. I would say even a 3060 can handle a lot of these games, such as Beat Saber and stuff.
I just wanted to say, with the 4060 Ti, he's going to be very happy playing most games. If it's not about Microsoft Flight Simulator and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there are not many games that you cannot really run. And even then, you just lower to 72 hertz, so you make it stick around 72 frames per second, it's going to be totally fine. If you cannot reach those 90 frames. If you're playing Half-Life Alyx, it's going to automatically adjust the frame rate. The resolution and stuff, it has so much built-in optimizations already.
Right.
And more games has that today.
Okay, good.
So
Yep. Next question. Can you disable foveated rendering? Yes. Right.
Of course.
Of course. You can, if you don't want the fixed foveated rendering, you can disable it in the Pimax Play, and then everything's good. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I find more questions. If not, then we can move on to the next topic. Sure. Even though I love the light topic. Well, I'm going to obsess over the light once I have it in my hands. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go crazy, just like in Reverb G2 times. This is going to be tough.
To give you like a little bit, some extra value to this stream to the people watching it here. There are a few things which I think were not even mentioned in the presentation.
Okay, give us something.
which I am mentioning in the video, which I'm about to post any day now, and that is that both of the USB-C ports are not there anymore on the Crystal Light, which means that there is no hand tracking capability anymore. There will be no.
I don't care.
Wait, yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah,
what was it more? There are two microphones at the bottom now. There are three microphones on the Crystal. The third microphone is on the top. That's gone on the Crystal Light. As I told you before, the fans and all the passive cooling is basically gone. It never really gets hot. That's the weird part. I actually asked the team, how does it stay hot really? But apparently it does. I was running this thing for like 7-8 hours straight. I was sitting at the office until like 10 p.m. or something, because I couldn't just leave it. I was the last person at the office one of the days, just because I was so stuck into the light and I was so excited about it. But anyway, there are a couple of things. Oh yeah, the lenses. I think actually that I don't remember. I'm getting messed up in my head right now. But I think Yap mentions it, that the lenses are not interchangeable on the Crystal Light. Yeah.
Yes. But
so there will be no screws for the lenses. Although the pre-production unit which I had, which I'm going to show on the video, still had those. Yeah, that's going to be removed. So you cannot switch to the wide field of view lenses.
That's great, because they sucked anyways.
Yeah, they're not for everyone. Actually, there are some people in the Discord server who just loves them. I see those reports every day. They're like, "Oh,
everyone
awesome.
is different."
Yeah, everyone's different. And
some people don't care about binocular overlap. Then it is like it is.
Yeah. For me, I'm quite sensitive to binocular overlap. First thing I did was to report about the binocular overlap thing. And,
me too.
But I know there are people who just don't see that problem.
Right. Everybody's different.
Yeah, that's why we didn't make a big thing out of it either, because
I made a big thing about it.
You did.
I didn't like it.
But you have to be honest, right? I mean, it's good. It's good that you're honest. It's very good that you're honest. You have to be honest, and that's. I mean, people should know, because it's better for people to know that upfront instead of getting it and then refound it.
That's why MRTV is here. That's my job.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I think it's fine that it doesn't have the screws. It's just one point of failure. I had the feeling with the Crystal, really. Yeah. Because I exchanged them, and then when I put it back, somehow the lenses didn't sit anymore exactly right, and then there was something wrong. And
it didn't work and stuff.
Yeah, and even when I got it in the first place, the lenses didn't sit right. So I thought like, wow, the picture is wrong, it's bad.
Oh, wow.
But it was just because I had to fix it. So it's one point of failure less, in my opinion. For me, it makes
less
the light
components,
even better.
less prone for failure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now as you said, the battery is gone. So of course the headset is powered by the DisplayPort cable, as we mentioned in the video.
Yeah.
But in fact, something I'm showing in my upcoming video is that it's basically using a power adapter. It's a one USB-A port. It's one DisplayPort, just as before, and then a power adapter, which is connected kind of the same way as the 8K Plus and those headsets. It is a new cable though, but it looks very similar to the previous version, which has a power adapter.
Okay.
Some people might not like it, but I think most people will like it, because it's just, no battery.
Yeah, that is the main point. Yeah. So many people will buy it. So yeah.
The top strap is also wider on top. I didn't show much. I don't know if I even showed any of the B-rolls from the Crystal Light. You'll see that in the video in a couple of days anyway.
Right.
But the top strap is not rubber anymore. It's fabric, and it's going to be wider and more comfortable. And there are a lot of good things with the Light, even though it's a scaled down Crystal, and you miss some of the top end, high end features.
I'm super excited about it.
For the price,
For me, it's the big deal. It's a big deal for PCVR as well, because we did not have like this kind of like more high-end device for such a great price that looks so good. It's really like it's a no-brainer. It's crazy.
You know, it might sound a little bit wrong coming from me, but I mentioned that at the end of my video. It's like, let's be honest here. There is no... I know it sounds wrong, but there is no competition really right now in this price segment when it comes to this kind of specification. If you think about it, there is nothing like the Crystal Light for either $699 or $899 in this price range.
It's really, there's no competition. No.
There is no
competition. Not with this kind of visuals. Like, there's the DPVR, which is also good, the E4, but it is not this kind of high-end device. This is a high-end device, right?
Yeah.
Like with all the IPD goodness, like you can obviously you can change the IPD, right? So now this works now with a slider, right? How does it work?
Yeah. That's something also. There's a chapter in the. Oh yeah, I could actually show this.
That would be amazing. Show it to us.
Let me just
World premiere on MRTV. Here we go again.
Let me just find it first, because there's like 100 different clips here. Maybe I'll just go with the full video instead, because otherwise I'm going to search through 100 clips instead. Now, I can just tell you while I'm searching for that moment is that the IPD adjustment it's super precise right now. It's not like it was before with the 8KX, where you know, like you pulled your thumb once and it went like 3 millimeters or something. There we
Yes.
go. Now you really have to, you know, if you want to go from, oh shit, I'm not sure what happened.
No, you're not showing.
Are you still there?
I'm
Sorry.
I'm still here.
Oh, no, no, my screen just flashed for a second. Sorry. There we go. You see it now?
I see it.
So there is the screw. How do you call it? Wheel, scroll wheel.
Scroll
Yeah.
wheel.
And to go from 58 millimeters to 72, it takes a while. I'm not kidding.
It takes a while. I love it. So you have to scroll that thing like really hard.
Yeah. You have to. I think I'm gonna go. Oh, there we go. Look at it. Look at how much I'm scrolling to
Wow.
actually get. I'm going from 70 or something down to 58. Look at this.
Wow, it's still
I
scrolling.
just keep going. And this is wonderful. You know why? Because you can actually do those micro adjustments, like
okay.
0.1 millimeter or something.
That's great.
And once you set it, even though you touch the wheel and it goes like moves like a
You're
centimeter.
still scrolling. Okay, now it's scrolling
Yeah.
back.
No, it's going back. Yeah, I'm just saying that it takes a while to get there. And if you're very sensitive, I wasn't that sensitive now when this is showing this, but you can actually go like 1 millimeter steps. And also it's shown in the Pimax PC client. It shows in real time the IPD value. I just saw there. Yeah, it just vanished. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Anyway, so it is a huge improvement from the previous scroll wheel we had on
Right.
the 8KX. It's
Yeah,
way
that was
more
not so good,
precise
yeah.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right. Yeah. Okay, bring it on. I need to get all the devices as soon as possible so I can compare them and tell everyone which one to buy and all this good stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
it's-
We'll make sure to
it-
provide you. I think it's not going to be so far off because those devices are also polished as they are. They're working so great already.
Yeah.
Those lights, crystal lights. But I think we might wait until we get the final housing, which is
Okay, that
right
makes
now
sense.
in how do you say, the final stage, because we don't want to send out units to YouTubers
Right.
with to
Ro-
any
yeah.
reviewers or so, which with holes for the USB-C port, and
That
there is no
makes sense.
USB-C
That
port.
makes sense. So when do you think it can happen?
Uh,
I'm
it's-
counting
it's
the
mid-
days.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's mid-April right now, and we're talking about sending the first batches in at the end of May. So we're talking about
Okay.
a month,
Right.
maybe 6 weeks
That is
at max.
that is
So,
good. That is fast. That's
which means I would suspect, I would guess at least that your preview device will land like in the beginning of May or something,
Okay.
like in a couple of weeks from now. I would be surprised if it's not.
right.
So yeah.
Okay, get ready for all these videos that are going to happen on MRTV. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun, just like
By the way-
Reverb G 2 times. Yes.
By the way, that cable connector, as you had on the Crystal, right? The thing that goes around which makes it easy to clip on the cable to the headset.
Right. That's gone.
Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, maybe you saw it on some shop. I don't know.
right,
But
right.
yeah, it's gone now. It also like removes some weight, and it removes
Okay.
another like a failing
Why not?
factor, which is great. I think. Just one of
Exactly.
those small things, but all the foams and all the things around the comfort kit, kind of face foam, it's all the same as before. The proximity sensor is still there. All of the important stuff are
Right.
still there on the light.
Perfect. Yeah. So basically, you're getting a crystal for $699, which is even better because you can play it as long as you want. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are going to love it, and it is going to be the Pimax bestseller in my opinion.
It should be. Yeah, definitely.
I truly think it's going to be. It's a big deal. Wow, big deal for PCVR. Well done.
It is.
Perfect. So now let's get to the next topic. Let's talk about the high-end version of the Crystal line. And let's first, let's not talk about the Micro-OLED and the interchangeable thing. Let's just talk about the QLED because it really excites me a lot.
Yeah.
I must say, because lots of people said, the Crystal is amazing, but that 103 degrees FOV is not Pimax. they love Pimax for the wide FOV. You know, I was happy that you made the crystal because it's a good FOV and I don't have any eye problems with it. It's great. But more is obviously better. So now you come with the now you come with the Crystal Super QLED. It has 130 degrees FOV horizontally, which is great.
Yeah,
right?
up to. I mean, it's always an up to value,
of course,
just like with
course.
the crystals. So
of course,
I would expect maybe. I always get smaller numbers for some reason. I get like 102 or 104 degrees with the crystal. Even the wide field of view lens, I get like 110 or something, 112.
Okay.
Meanwhile, other gets like 115, 116 even.
Right.
So I would assume maybe
I don't
like
know, 125.
or
something like that.
maybe something around
That's,
there, which is still
great.
like market
which
leading.
Is, which is
in
still
that
great.
category.
And
Indeed.
you're like combining it with a much higher res QLED than the crystal, the original crystal, right? So it's like 3,840 by 3,840 pixels, which is more pixels than the Apple Vision Pro. And the Apple Vision Pro, it looks so good. It's just nice. So that is spectacular, I believe. So
it is.
First of all, is it the same housing or is the housing? No, it's not the same housing, of course, because you have that kind of like a modular thing going on. So have you seen it? Have you touched it? Is it real? Is it just a render? Tell us.
Here's the. I haven't seen the new housing, although I have tested the Crystal Super with those panels, which was basically using the current existing housing with some modifications to be able to allow for the modular optical thing. Optical and I mean the lenses and the panels. So yes, I've tried it, and the new lenses, of course, also, which are like they're like 30% bigger, but they look like 50% bigger or something. They just look massive. It's kind of crazy. They're still like round spherical glass lenses, so it's not like 12K huge massive wide lenses, but they're still round, and so yeah, I tried that, and I can tell you that not every person maybe will appreciate the difference going from a crystal to a Crystal Super. But if you are someone who appreciates the resolution bump, especially for simulators, stuff like that, it's mind-blowing that you can go further from the 35 ppd and still notice like your eyes actually do see like, holy crap, this is actually sharper. It's like, oh wow. I wasn't expecting that, but I do know at the same time that there are people who will definitely not need it. So it's a kind of a 50-50 like the market segment is, there are different market segments. It's a high-end device as well. It's going to be priced basically as the crystal was priced in the beginning. So yeah, it's a kind of you saw some lenses at CES also, which not many people got to see, which is very similar to those lenses you saw at CES, which are way bigger. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, even bigger than what I saw. Okay.
Yeah, slightly big. Yeah. So they're estimating them to be around 30% bigger than the current crystal 35 ppd lenses.
Right.
So this automatically also enables or allows for a wider field of view and also a bigger sweet spot, which I totally noticed. The sweet spot was great.
Wow, that's good.
Whatever you saw at CES back in January, it's not even close to what I've seen now in Shanghai.
That is very good to know.
Yeah, it's no. But back at CES, that was basically a prototype, and it was an early stage. The rendering pipeline wasn't ready, even as you probably
I was
understood when. Yeah, but as of now, it is like a working thing.
Okay, good to know.
Which is, but the housing, the new housing, which is supposedly noticeably smaller in size, lighter, of course, also. The PCB is completely changed and stuff. No, I have not seen that.
All right, okay, but it's good to know that it's a new housing. It's not anymore the kind of big housing of the crystal. It's smaller. That's good to know.
It's smaller, but I must still add. I must also spoil that it's going to have basically the same design. So you're right.
We saw it. It looked exactly the same.
Yeah. So if you look at it from a distance, you think it's a crystal, but it's just smaller. But it's basically like a shrink down. Like you zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
So
So the big question for the big FOV of 125, 130, how goes the binocular overlap? Because you and me, we need it, we want it.
Yeah. Now, this is something I never tested like scientifically by doing the tests I used to do. But I can tell you that the binocular overlap was at least as good as it is on the 35 ppd crystal
Okay,
lenses right
here
now.
we talk.
At least,
That's
yeah. And
that's good. I like it the binocular overlap on the 35 ppd lenses. It's
yeah,
also
yeah.
not perfect, but it's pretty good.
It's definitely not smaller than the 35 ppd lens binocular overlap, and it might be a bit wider also. But I don't want to lie to you right now and say it is bigger. It's
Right.
better if it comes as a surprise later on than it actually is. So, but yeah, it's definitely just at least as big as the crystal 35 ppd lens.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah,
And also, I love the jump from 35 ppd to 50 ppd. And I
it
just like
is.
you, I also thought like, okay, no, it's over now with the Crystal. That's it. It cannot be better. But then I got the Apple Vision Pro, and you can really tell, even from that standalone M2 chip, it's amazing. And to have
Yeah,
something like this for PC VR,
yeah.
I'm wow. Lots of people will
With eye
enjoy that
tracking,
with eye
it,
tracking, and then for
it's gonna
thousand
be
four
definitely
hundred
new eye
dollars, if you
tracking.
own a Crystal, that is
Yeah,
like so aggressive. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we want to Pimax wants to satisfy everyone for better or worse. I mean, there are cases which I think personally there are deals that shouldn't even happen. I think because they're just too low margins on things. But I think, as I told you before, the market is as it is right now. It's a tough industry. It's a tough period of time with all the financial crisis and shit going on.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's bad.
so I think it's. I think we ended up in a good spot when it comes to pricing of the
Very
crystal.
good. It's very good. It's just like it's nearly too good that you just say all Crystal users get $400 off. This
Yeah,
is like a crazy deal.
yeah. I mean, look at if you look at the competition which does exist. I mean, I don't have to even mention even names, but there are headsets for $4,000 plus tax and stuff, and of course there are companies paying for that, no problem. I mean,
Yeah.
the regular or the vast majority of all VR gamers,
Yeah.
even
Us.
flight simulator guys, they won't pay $4,000 or $5,000 for a headset, and
Right.
so it makes no sense putting
Right. Right.
ourselves in that
Right.
category. We're not even competing with them at all.
No.
I would say it's
Hmm.
so. As I said, competition is great,
Yeah.
but
I'm also.
we're always trying to
Yeah.
push the boundaries, not only with technology but also with innovation, but also with the pricing. I
Yeah.
think the industry needs that, so we don't get stuck with those high end devices for $2,000-3,000.
Agreed. So I'm really glad that Pimax is there to help us push like the limits for PCVR, because there's
Yeah,
really not many companies that do that crazy stuff that you guys are doing, and I love it.
it's a
So
tough business. There are a
yeah,
lot of risks you have to take, and
yeah,
sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and it's not easy. People think it's so easy.
it's not easy now.
Just bring it. Yeah, I mean, if it was that easy, we would have had so many headsets out there already. But there's a good reason why we don't have basically any new headset in
Right,
this category for the past year, except for Crystal. And now,
right,
yeah, VR1 is coming, so but it's still, yeah,
right.
different price range.
Of course, still you have to deliver on the product, right? The
Of
presentation,
course.
everything was amazing now, but the delivery is the real big challenge for you guys. So I'm
Here's the thing: the
yeah,
presentation will not bring us any money anyway. I think the
exactly.
so,
Yeah, I agree. So now it's all about delivering it. I must tell you, like for the Pimax Crystal Light, I'm super confident. Right? You have made it. You have all the displays, everything, no question. This is gonna come out end of May. But for the new device, where everything is new, new lenses, new displays, new everything, yeah. How confident are you really that you can get a Q4 launch?
from what I've seen so far, I'm very confident with that. The it all sounds like it's all new, but after all, tracking is reused. Now also,
Yeah,
it's going to be the same tracking system as the Crystal Light has, which is not dependent on the XR2 chipset. No standalone mode. As and despite the fact that the lenses are larger and and the panel has a wider, I mean, the higher resolution, noticeably higher resolution. Of course, it's crazy how many millions of pixels there is now. But at the same time, it's kind of the same algorithms and the features
Yeah, okay,
reused
that makes sense.
and improved.
Right. You
And
know QLED, you know everything. It's exactly the same, basically.
yeah, we're not doing any radical changes, I would say, except for the fact that we're going to have that interchangeable modular system with the
Yeah, okay.
QLED and Micro-OLED. But as I said before, it's like
It's
a
not so
unit
crazy.
on its
Yeah,
own.
okay. Makes
We
sense.
just need some connections for the rest, for the
Right.
power, for the
Actually,
audio and stuff, and
the
the
more I think about it,
cameras.
it's really not so crazy, right? You just make the first module first, and if you don't have the other things, right, and then sometimes later the other module comes, right?
Yeah,
It makes sense. It makes sense.
it is. It is. I mean, it's at one point in time we thought that phones with dual displays were crazy. It was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, we have a display here and a
Right.
display here, and then turned out it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But it is innovative. I mean,
You're
it is
right.
an innovation. Nobody has done it before, and I think
Anyways,
there is a good
if you
use
want to
case for
use
it.
the same housing anyways for both, right? And you would have because it's very expensive to make another
Yeah,
mold for another housing. Yeah, it makes sense.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So, okay, you're confident about Q4 because it's not so much different from the crystal. Okay, okay, that makes
We
sense.
want to. We also wanted to. I mean, I don't want to jump topics here, but we definitely want to showcase the 12K at CES next year
Okay,
in January,
right,
and
right,
we want to make sure that Crystal Super is finished by then and
right.
start to ship before we show off the 12K.
That makes sense.
A lot of the 12K stuff is based on the changes and improvements we've made with the Crystal Super. For instance, as I hinted about before, the 12K will not have a standalone mode anymore because it
Right.
showed no, you know, we skipped the battery, we skipped a lot
It
of
makes
stuff.
sense. I'm happy that you did it for the super as well.
Yeah. So the Super is just another step, just like the Crystal was. This Crystal Super is just another step in the development of the 12K. It's a part of it, of course.
Hmm.
There is a whole division of people dedicated to the 12K as well. But
Okay.
that's a challenging headset. It's so much different doing those wide field of view stuff with the.
Right, we
We've
know.
tried a lot of techniques, but yeah, let's save that for
Yeah,
later. I think
yeah,
the
we will
12K.
ask more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So $2,800 is already a good price. If you own the crystal, it's even just 1,400, which is nearly unbelievable for like a wide FOV headset. So for the wide FOV, can you make it without distortions?
Distortion. Well, it depends on what you mean distortion. I mean, I personally I don't see any distortion with the crystal
No,
either.
no. I also no.
No.
I don't see distortions with the crystal. But
Yeah.
before, can you remember the times when we started with this whole VR things with the Pimax 5K? There were distortions, right?
Yeah. No, I think distortion might become a problem again once the 12K
Okay,
is in the first releases, and there
430.
might
No.
be. Yeah, we're talking about 200 degrees and stuff. It's
Yeah, right. That's
impossible to
crazy.
get that
Right,
100%
right,
from
right.
day one. But
But for 130 degrees, you're fine.
yeah, definitely. That's not a problem, really. It's I mean, what I've seen, as I said, I haven't measured the field of view, but I saw it was wider. Definitely, I just noticed, especially
Yeah,
also
right.
the vertical field of view was wider,
That's
which is
nice.
easier to actually notice because it kind of adds to the immersion in some
Yeah,
weird
I
way.
love vertical FOV. It's
Yeah,
great.
it does a lot. It does a lot.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't tell any distortions, which
Okay.
is a good. And since I don't saw any distortion, I wasn't really like reflecting or thinking or even considering that as a problem. So
Right. Good. Just wanted to yeah, double check with you about that. So
sure.
now the community, please come with your questions for the super QLED version. I already read one question, which was, does it have eye tracking? And I can answer that yes, it has eye tracking, right? The QLED, the super version.
Someone is asking about the DisplayPort interface, and
Yes.
as far as I know, it's going to still be the 1.4.
Hmm.
Now, as for the 12K again, that's
So
probably
how to
most
run
likely
the
going to be
high
another story. But
resolution?
yeah, for the 12K,
Please
the
see.
DisplayPort 1.4 is just way too much. Which but now we're talking about the Crystal Super. So
Right.
yes, in that regard, we will stay with the DisplayPort 1.4. And
Okay.
after all, we have to be able to deliver a product which will be compatible with all the latest. I mean, the generation of
It
graphic cards.
unfortunately it makes sense because if
It
you go for 2.1, nobody has it.
Nobody has it.
No,
You're
nobody
gonna
can.
need you're gonna need either the AMD latest AMD 7000 graphic
Yeah.
cards, latest generation, or the 5000 series of Nvidia, which might or might not be released at the end of
Right.
this year. So
So
no, it
to
would makes no sense.
right, it makes sense. But how can
Yeah,
you run these kind of high resolutions then? It's DSC, right? You have to do it.
yeah, it's display stream compression
Right.
involved. It's I mean, Vario is doing it as well with their
Yeah.
XR4.
Everybody
It's
is basically doing it.
and yeah, and it is quite magic. Just like I told you before about the forwarded transport and the YGig. It's pretty insane how it works. Like how you can decrease the bandwidth and use compression to a degree where it's not even noticeable.
Right.
And display stream compression is even better when it comes to that. To just lower we are basically maxing out the signal. We are with the Crystal Super, but it's still working perfectly fine at it. Although we will be limited, as far as I know, we will be limited to 90 hertz on those
Okay.
panels. There
90
might
hertz.
be Pimax magic involved later on. You've seen that before. I mean,
Right.
we
It,
all of
it
us
went
we are
higher for the AKX, yes.
yeah, but as of right now, I've only seen 90 hertz operating, and that's the information I've got from the engineers.
Okay.
90 hertz.
Got it. How about the accessories from the Crystal? Can they work? Like the lighthouse module, can you put it on the Super?
Uh, on the Crystal Light, yes. On the Super, cannot answer that question right
Okay.
now
It might be a
because
different,
of the
right?
difference
Right.
housing. Yeah,
Right.
so I suspect there might be changes to the size of the front plate
Mm-hmm.
or the lighthouse front plate itself.
Okay.
So it might be that you need to buy a separate lighthouse
Right.
for whatever reason anyone would need. Of course, there are still people preferring lighthouse tracking, although I've moved away from it. I still have like double set of lighthouses up, and I have no idea why they're on. They've been on for like 4 years here in this room. I never turn them off.
Mine too. It's there. It's just like shining. I don't know for what.
I
Yeah.
never use
For
them. I have
well,
several
for the
of
big
these
screen, I do use
lighthouse.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have several of these lighthouse faceplates here, which are just laying around, and I never use them because I don't
Right.
feel that I need that. Maybe if I
Got it.
would be playing more like archery games or stuff where you actually have to pull your controller at the back of you, and then it just
Right.
kind of loses the position. But that's probably the only. Or if you play like in the pitch dark environments, of course. Inside out tracking needs a little bit of stray light at least in the room to operate correctly. So
Right. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question. It will come with DMAS. Is it the same audio solution exactly
yeah,
compatible?
yeah,
Okay,
definitely, it's
that makes sense.
exactly the same. Just like on the Crystal Light, it also uses the same this DMAS speakers and SMAS speakers. Although they keep getting improved all the time. So
Right.
like they has been doing. I mean, it has been done the past year. But as it seems, they might continue to be blue in color, the
Mhm.
DMAS. Not sure why. Don't ask me why they never changed that to a black color. It's kind of like a little bit off when the entire
Yeah,
headset
right.
is black, and then the headphones, the part of it is still blue from
Yeah.
the 8KX generation or the previous Pimax Vision
Right.
series. But yeah, it's totally the same.
Okay, good. So RTN asks, why not HDMI 2.1? Because it has a higher bandwidth, but also no current cards have it. That's the answer, right?
HDMI, no, they have it. 2.0,
Yeah.
2.1 even. Yeah, I'm using that on my RTX to output like 120 hertz signal to my TV and stuff. So that
Okay.
is on at least on the 40 series and 30 series, I think,
Oh yeah.
of NVIDIA GPUs. But I know there are some complications with the HDMI for VR. It's not that heavily used for
Okay.
VR at all. There are advantages of using a DisplayPort.
Right.
I don't know if it has to do with the latency, Because obviously I can tell you from my own experience, I run a 20-meter long HDMI cable, which is supporting up to 8K resolution to my TV in my living room from this computer, so I can play games like in a sofa. And there is a noticeable latency to the HDMI, to the input, just because of the HDMI transmitted signal, even though it's optical. The cable is optical. It was a super expensive cable. There is still some, and I think that's something you avoid when using DisplayPort, as far as I understand it. So that's probably the reason. I'm not going to swear on it, but I suspect that's the main reason.
Okay. Okay, let's see if we find any more interesting questions here for that. So the cable will be 4.5 meters again. Is this the same cable or similar cable?
5 meters.
Not 5
4,
meters.
4. Yeah, it's
Okay,
5. Or if it's 5.5, you know, I never measured it, but I would suspect it's 5 meters. Yeah.
Okay, and it has a DisplayPort and USB.
One USB 3.0 something. It's a blue connector, and then so no more 2 USBs, because the other one was used mainly for extra power, and now it's a power. Now it's exactly. Now it's going to be the power adapter connecting to the headset. So if there are still people running like, you know, backpack laptops, that will introduce a problem, because you need external power from a power source. But I don't know how many people actually use those backpack laptops as they were hot for a while. You remember, like in VR cafes and stuff like that, in like VR experience places. But for most people, a power outlet is always accessible nearby the PC anyway. So
that makes sense. Okay, will the Super need a battery as well? No, it does not, Darren. No battery needed.
No battery needed, and no battery existing at all.
No, so exactly. No more batteries. Everybody was unhappy about the battery. Now it's gone.
Yeah. So at the back of the strap, which I'm going to show also on the Crystal Light video, there is no battery compartment anymore. So it looks a little bit flatter at the back. There's like more room for adjustment, because you get rid of like 1.5 centimeter of the battery compartment. So.
Right. That's right, Darren. No battery. double confirm. Yeah, right. Confirm. That's good. Yeah, I believe that's it for the Super. So Q4, you believe it's going to happen?
Yeah, it's going to happen on the Q4. I'm pretty sure about that. It's
2024.
Yeah, I think we actually were talking about Q3 at first, but then we moved it to Q4 just to not to delay it unnecessarily. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and also it's around Christmas time, holiday time, and stuff. It's always a good time to release it, especially before CES and stuff.
Exactly. So. Yeah, CES. So we will meet each other again at CES, hopefully before as well.
I really hope so. Yeah,
I hope so too.
Really look forward to it.
Me too. Okay, so let's talk about the next headset, the Pimax Crystal Super Micro-OLED. I'm not sure if you're going to call it like this, but it's the Micro-OLED version. Very interesting, of course. I'm loving my big screen beyond a lot, right? It's so cool to have this really dark blacks. It makes a difference, right? In some scenes, like the local dimming doesn't work very well. Like you know, it's just like there's some kind of not so nice. But OLED rocks. So now also you want to do an OLED headset. So for the OLED, everything is different, right? The thing is, it's just so tiny, those Micro-OLED displays. 1.3 inch, 1.5 maximum. So it's tough to make a good FOV. Normally you get like probably 90 or... No, actually it's more like 90, 95 degrees horizontally that you can max it out with those current pancake lenses. So...
Yeah.
In the show, you said like also you're gonna have more FOV than any other Micro-OLED headset. How are you doing that? And how big is the FOV of the Micro-OLED headset? The render
That's
one?
Something I'm not even allowed to discuss yet. All I can say is that it will be at least slightly wider on both vertically and horizontally than the current micro OLED headsets right now. It's going to be noticeable above 100 degrees, somewhere there in that territory. So it's not a massive difference, of course. I mean, due to the technology limitations of the small panels, but it also brings a lot of other, good things with micro OLED. So that's, and since so many
Micro-OLED
people
rocks.
are, I
love
know it does in many ways, but micro OLEDs also, micro OLED headsets also tends to suffer from on the optical side.
Yes.
If you ask Robin, he just hates them, and I understand him. I'm here as I'm sitting here as a Pimax employee, so I won't go, throw shit at others. But I've tested a couple of other headsets which are around like 100 degrees field of view, like,
Yeah.
and I don't like it because
Okay.
not because the image is sharp in the center, but as soon as I move out, it's like
Okay.
30-40 degrees out from the center, it just becomes blurry, and I'm just not
That's
used
true.
to that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think Robin specifically just hates that small sweet spot, and that. So
Okay.
this is also the reason why he's approaching. He's making the approach of doing the glass pancake lenses. How that's going to be made, how it's made, I have no details about it, but I know that there's a deal set already. We have some company which is helping us with this. They have helped us in the past with other aspheric glass lenses. So it is completely possible, and it's completely doable. Otherwise, we wouldn't announce it right now. This is not like, it's going to be a huge part of the Crystal Super. So it's not like, hey, this is one more thing, like a cool, like a bonus thing. It's going to be a very important part of the Crystal Super, because that's why we added that modularity in the first place, to switch between micro OLED and QLED. So it has to happen. And from what I've heard and what I've been told is that both versions are aimed to be finished and ready for shipment in Q4. Although the quantity might differ depending on how the demand is. We'll see how the demand is going to be for the micro OLED.
Right.
Because not everyone is going to choose the micro OLED, because a big advantage of micro OLED headsets is usually the size of the headset itself. In this case, this is a Crystal Super, right? Which still is bigger than many other headsets. Like, it's not even close to the big screen beyond size and stuff. So there are still some question marks whether people who like or who prefers micro OLED will choose the Crystal Super.
Right.
But the goal here and the mission here, which they're certainly like dedicated to complete, is that get both those versions ready by Q4 this year.
Yeah, but it's gonna be very tough, I believe, because it's just like so crazy to make like a headset is hard, and then to make a headset with a completely different technology, I believe is kind of tough. But like QLED and stuff, you already know now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We do get some help from an external company. As far as I'm not supposed to disclose any information, so we're not outsourcing things normally. But here we get some help from a very known and well-known big supplier, which is significantly of a help for us to make that possible. Because pancake glass lenses it's a new thing.
Okay. yeah, right.
So,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Interesting. So the panel, can you disclose the resolution of the 4K micro?
Not exactly. Not exactly. I can tell you it's a higher resolution than Apple Vision Pro, 100%. And it's 4K kindish resolution per eye. So it's not going to be like the double resolution of Apple Vision Pro, of course, but it's going to be higher resolution, which is good enough when it comes to pixels count and the pixel density, especially for the micro OLED.
Right. So how exactly do you plan to get the higher FOV? Because you also need to use pancake lenses to get this magnification going on. So I understand you're using glass instead of like a polymer, it's plastic. So how how does it work? The magic.
I am an engineer, but not a Pimax engineer really. I'm not that involved in how that's going to turn out. But I just don't think that we would announce something which is not possible or doable, which hasn't
Okay.
been already proved, so to say.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I need to add this. As of right now, as of today, I was at the headquarter just 1.5 week ago or 1 week ago, and I did not test the micro OLED version of the
Right.
suit. I saw parts, I saw panels, I saw stuff laying around, and there are floating a couple of
You should have
prototypes.
put it together.
Yeah, no. They already have put together a couple of
Okay.
them, but they were actually in the other. There are several offices around that area, and there is a smaller one which does a lot of the development. So I know they had them at that point. So I wasn't able to test it, which makes it harder for me to actually testify anything regarding the micro OLED thing, how it looked, and how all of that. But from what I've seen from the QLED version and the promises made and what I actually saw, which it's basically met all the promises for me at least.
Hmm.
I don't think I have no doubts the micro OLED they will pull it off for sure by the end of
Okay.
this year. I can see that on Robin. He's just completely dedicated. I've never seen him so focused on this generation of headset as he's been. Maybe
Yeah, it's
because
an
we're reaching
exciting.
a
It's
level
yeah, the level is
when
good.
he's
Like this was a great show. Sorry,
yeah. No,
keep
I
on
mean
going.
not to show. I mean screw the show. A show. It's just a show. It's just an announcement show, right?
Right.
But now it's up to us to deliver, and I can feel that we've reached a level in this technology phase, so to say, that Robin starts to get really satisfied with what we are achieving,
Hmm.
and that makes him even more motivated. I can tell that from how he's. I mean, how he's interacting and doing. It's great to see people at that level, at that which is way above my skills and stuff, and way above my level, how they're operating and how they make things happen. And not only Robin, of course, the engineers. I saw some incredible stuff they were testing, which are not even announced. There are things at the office or in the lab being tested which we haven't even heard of,
Hmm.
which is pretty amazing. It's pretty cool to see that happening. A company is always, when something is announced, it's like 70% finished basically. When something is
Okay.
not announced, it could be at the beginning phase of a new product.
Right.
So
Right. That makes sense. So
yeah,
I still have more questions about the micro OLED panel. How bright is it? Like, can you do? Is it as bright as the Apple Vision Pro?
that's as I said,
You
it's something
can't
I'm
tell.
not able to tell this. According from the engineers I've been speaking to at the headquarters, they are telling me it's way brighter because of the glass lenses
It's
used, which is a
brighter.
big factor.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're not using glass lenses because it's glass lenses because it's fancy or something. There are good reasons for that. It's
Hmm.
all about the sweet spot increase. It's a possibility to make the field of view larger in their ways, however they're doing it, but also the brightness levels, which pancake lenses normally they block like 90% of the light, which is the reason why many of those micro OLED headsets are a bit
Hmm.
dim. Even though
Yeah, the
most
Vision
people
Pro is
may,
good, I think.
yeah, the Vision Pro is a Vision Pro, but it's a
Yeah,
$4,000 headset. I
it
mean,
is.
after all, we're comparing apples to
To Pimaxes.
yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It's
Right.
I think any company at this level, as Pimax or Vario or Apple, they could release a headset with even higher resolutions, higher pixel densities, higher field of use. But then we end up with a headset for $10,000, and who's going to buy that? Who's going to really use that anyway? So
Right.
there has to be compromises made, but at least Robin's vision is to make as little compromises on the image quality as possible, while
Okay.
maintaining a reasonable price, which is the
Got
key
it.
factor here today. Today, it's all about the price, I think.
Yeah, the price is really good. The price is wow. So the micro OLED is $2,000, and
Yeah.
yeah, 1,600 for crystal owners. Yeah, wow. Yeah. So my feeling for the micro OLED, just like the people in the chat, is it's probably going to be a bit later than the QLED version. The feeling, because I don't know, it's just like it's easier to get the QLED panels, right? Like it's really not easy to get the micro OLED panels.
I do believe no, it's not difficult to get those old, but no, of course, there's always those stages in the development when things start to get fine tuned, and as we remember the previous generations with the 8KX and the wide field of views, that was also like a big uh, technology leap, and that introduced new issues which had to be fine tuned, fixed,
Yeah,
and improved over time. So yeah, I do suspect that it is a challenge to make those micro OLEDs. I mean, compared to the QLEDs, where we're basically increasing the resolution on the QLED panels, and
exactly.
that's that. So it's not that of a big deal. But yeah, there might be some complications. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, but I know that this is not going to turn into 3-year project, because the company doesn't want that. The
Like the
company
12K.
cannot afford that. No, it's we could have. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because we are launching the Y-Gig now, we are launching the Crystal Light
Yeah,
and the Super. We could have just settled for the Super and just release it in quarter 4 and just be fine. But there's a good reason why Robin and the whole team. I mean, it's not only Robin, but they decided to go for the micro OLED. And I don't think I don't I definitely don't think they would do that just to make a big thing out of it for nothing. There is
they must
definitely.
have some micro OLED panels somewhere.
Yes, I did. No, I know they do. I mean, I've
They
seen
must
those
have them
panels.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely. I've seen those
Okay.
panels and all that, but I haven't seen that in action. So to say.
Okay.
So that's
I
why
got
I'm a
it.
little bit careful now.
Yeah.
I don't want to promise or claim anything. I don't like claiming things without actually proving, being able to at least say that I've tested
Right.
it.
That makes sense.
So it's not my thing really to do it, because. But I I think there's a good reason. I know there is a good reason why this product exists. It's not just because it's cool,
Yeah. Right.
interchangeable stuff. It's
Okay.
because
I got it. I got it. You believe in it. Robin believes in it, and it's a great technology. I'm truly in love with micro OLED, and it's great that you're trying to achieve something like this. Cool.
yeah.
Um, I have a question now here about the discount, the $400 discount. Like $400 is like a serious discount,
It is.
and
It is.
it's really big. I bought the crystal on eBay recently. Am I eligible for the discount?
Yeah. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. I mean, as long as it's not like a second-hand thing, because that might complicate
It will
things.
be a second-hand thing.
But eBay do have new brand
Yeah,
new
but
stuff
I
as
believe
well.
he means that he bought it secondhand. Let's think about he bought it secondhand.
Hmm. I guess if that's hard to tell, but
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but I just
We need
assume that
rules.
if
We
he
need
has.
clear rules.
Yeah, that's something I cannot provide here at this, not today at least. But on the other hand, I have a hard time to believe that wouldn't it would make any complications, because I
Yeah,
mean there is the first person who bought it after all has a receipt, right? It has an invoice or a receipt or something from the purchase from Pimax
right.
store or Amazon or whatever. So there's always a first buyer. So in that case, as long as the person which possesses the headset right now has an invoice, shouldn't be any problem.
Yeah.
But I'll make a reservation here. Let's not
Yeah,
take
that's
my
okay.
assumption as
You really
as
need
a statement.
for that you really need clear rules as soon as possible
Yeah,
because I see all
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
definitely.
problems. What if
Yeah,
somebody sold it to somebody, right? Doesn't have it anymore, but he has the invoice. So it
yeah.
seems like he could still totally claim the $400 discount.
That could be, yeah, misused or whatever it's
Right?
called.
You
Yeah, yeah,
think so?
definitely.
Yeah.
That could be.
It
Yeah, yeah,
sounds
that's something they're going to sort
yeah
out, and I
that
think this.
that you really have to sort out like quickly
Yeah.
so that there won't be any like misunderstandings. This is like a big one.
Yeah, there's one more thing actually also in the announcement, which I think most people missed, which will be cleared out and more announced more in detail later on. There's going to be like a way of partially prepay after pay the product.
Okay.
There are going to be alternatives.
That's
I'm
good.
not going to go into details because I
Yeah.
know they're still debating
Installment
on how it's going
payments.
to be used. Yeah, yeah. Basically, like you pay like a sum before you get it, and then like a lump sum like after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks or something of usage if
Okay.
you decide to keep it. And so,
Yeah.
it's just like just keep that in mind. There will be announcements regarding that
That
because
is good. That is important.
yeah.
Technic Checker says like you could use the serial number for the discount. Yeah, that makes sense. Somehow with
That
the serial numbers, that would make lots of
clever.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Very good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting a little bit slow. It's like what is it, like 6 a.m. in the morning for you or something?
Yes, I believe it's getting bright already. Yeah, it's getting bright.
It's good.
Yeah, I
And
can
here
see.
it's pitch
Anyways,
black outside, and
yeah.
it's like 12 o'clock almost.
I'm
But
going. I'm
yeah,
going to have. I'm going to go for a nice breakfast after this. It's going to be great. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. More questions. Has the Micro OLED company has it been decided yet from who you're gonna buy the panels? Yeah, probably yes. Right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it has been decided, but I'm not able to disclose that information as of now. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot
Of
of
course.
secrecy or whatever it's called around that micro OLED part
Right.
still.
Right. Makes sense.
Uh, so
Okay. We will hear more about it later.
someone actually asked, or I think you asked before, Sebastian, can the models be changed on the fly without restarting the
Right.
HMD? Now I got an answer from the engineers that as of right now there is a reboot involved, so you have to
Okay.
reboot the device.
Yeah,
Now
that's
I
okay.
have to add though that the Crystal Light right now, also the Crystal Super, if I think about it, it's not instant, but it's pretty quick reboot. It's not like the Crystal, which
Okay.
which I mean, the Crystal is using the XR4, and all of that is also booting up in its way, and therefore it took like maybe the double time to boot up the Crystal. Now the Crystal Light is very fast to connect and boot up, and it's the same as the Crystal Super. So even if a restart is required when changing the module, it's not going to be like you don't have to wait like 30 or 60 seconds or something like that. It's going to probably be like 10,
Okay.
15 seconds. But as of now, yes, you have to do it. There's no way to just unplug the thing while the game is running and then plug in the micro OLED like, hey,
Right.
let's play further. That's not going to
Okay.
be possible. There's
Okay.
not like a hot swap function anymore.
Got it. Do you have any estimations about the weight for the Super with LCD panel, with QLED
with the
panels?
QLED panels.
QLED.
Yeah, it's going to be significantly lighter. The numbers are not supposed to be disclosed, although I kind of know the numbers. Even though I wasn't testing with the new housing, but with the same components and stuff, it's significantly lighter, yes, and smaller and lighter. But I'm not able to tell the numbers. We were supposed to say the numbers in this announcement, but we removed that like in the last
Okay.
second
Hmm.
because I don't think it's a very, how do you say, sensitive, just like with the
Sensitive.
field of view
It's a sensitive
numbers.
topic.
Yeah, if you claim 800 or whatever grams and it turns out to be 830 or 40,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you have to
Or
explain yourself,
right.
which is just
Or if you claim
unnecessary.
you have too much FOV, like 125, and then it's just 103, you have
Yeah,
to really be careful about that.
that's all. Also, I don't like to those FOV numbers really
Yeah.
because it's so different from person per person. I've never reached the full FOV of any headset because of my probably almost 70 millimeters in IPD. There's just something that limits it with. Or maybe how deep my eyes are inside of
Right.
my
That really
skull.
the distance from your eyeballs to the lens makes all the difference. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then I have a big ass nose, so it's I cannot like squeeze the headsets that for that much into my face like some other people can. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm losing a couple of degrees automatically with any headset.
Right. For sim racing, Greg asks, what is better, the QLED or the Micro OLED?
Oh wow. Well, you're gonna get a wider field of view with a
Yeah, right.
QLED. So in sim racing, that's like the big thing, the field of view. Even 5-10 degrees, it just makes a massive difference. If we're talking about 20 degrees or even 25 degrees wider, that's a no-brainer to go with the QLED.
Hmm.
And I also suspect that it's going to be probably a range of somewhere around maybe 20 degrees wider with the QLED. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, as I said, and I'm not even supposed to say this, but out of nature, the QLED panels can provide a wider field of view,
Right, because
significantly
it's
wider
bigger.
field of view. So, yeah, so for racing, yeah, definitely, I would go for the QLED.
Right, but night racing, as HamVR says, could be better on the Micro OLED though. Yeah, it's complicated, but
I don't know. Have you actually tested like iRacing with those, you know, those Tokyo new tracks and stuff with the rain and in the night?
yeah,
It's look amazing. We actually demoed that at CES
in
in
the crystal.
January. It's amazing on the
Okay.
crystal with the local dimming. It's just crazy how deep
Mm.
blacks gets and stuff. So of course the local dimming will never be perfect as OLED can be,
Mhm.
but there are always good and bad things about OLED. I mean, we've dealt with the, you know, the black smear and stuff on the OLED panels for a long time. That's almost gone on OLED displays, but there are still things like black crush, which the QLED does not have, which is a big thing for people who watches movies. You don't want to crush the black details. I mean, the dark details in
Right.
movies. So
Okay.
so yeah,
Okay.
that's why there are two different headsets basically
Right.
into one, so you can choose for. You don't have to pay the full price for two headsets to be able to do
That's
this.
actually that is quite a good idea. So I just hope it's gonna work out. But yeah, why not? So yeah, let's get to the last questions here for Micro OLED, and then we're nearly finished. Then some last words about 12K, and then I'm gonna have some breakfast. So yeah, is there any more questions about the Micro OLED display? I think I can't wait to buy my Crystal Super, says Mastiff. Yeah, good. Me neither, actually.
It's going to be a great headset.
I think
I
so.
mean,
I really think it's going to be a great headset. The bigger FOV, I'm looking forward to that. With that super high resolution, nice.
the resolution is really underrated. People, I mean, once you see it, it's hard to describe. You know, when you see the 35 ppd of Crystal as of now, right now, and you think like, wow, this is great, and then you see something which almost doubles the ppd again. It's kind of weird how clear things can get. Although I still must add that with that kind of resolution, there comes a cost of performance, which is
Yeah,
gonna,
of course.
if you really want to do some serious simulation stuff and on the Super, you will probably need to head for the new generation of NVIDIA graphic cards late this year or beginning of next year, because it's I had the XR4 here for a couple of weeks,
Right.
which is the Vario. We basically uses the same resolution on the panels. It's an enterprise headset and blah blah, but still, it is a similar technique. I'm not going to tell my opinion or anything about it. Yeah, but what I saw from on the performance side was a bit devastating, coming
Okay.
from a user which has a 4090 graphic card
Yeah,
over
we
here,
need the
overclocked.
5090 now.
Yeah, especially if you want to run at full resolution and stuff. Now, I was never testing the XR4 with dynamic with the rendering and stuff. I couldn't get that to work at all. So, and that's what is called the quad views. It couldn't get that to work actually. So, maybe that would improve. But still, you will need a top end GPU for the Crystal Super if you want to go full resolution. That's for
Right.
sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have the PPD of the Micro OLED panels? Or of the Micro OLED display?
Wasn't that actually
I can't
stated in the
remember it.
presentation? I think it was like 50 something. I mean, technically wise, it's supposed to have even a higher PPD than the QLED panels, which end up on like 50 or
Right.
57. So we're probably in the territory of 60 or something, like human vision territory of what the
Okay.
human vision can actually, you know, perceive or determine when it comes to like the retina display kind of, you know, PPD. But no, I don't have the exact number. I don't want to claim things which I'm not
Right.
100%
That's
sure of.
good. That's good. Then let's skip to the
Yeah.
next one. Last question: Is Pimax Is it going to work with AMD as well, or only NVIDIA
Yes,
GPUs?
yes, it's very important, very important. We have actually a few dedicated people for that matter. There's has been a lot of work done with the Crystal as well. I know there has been so many issues with the AMD in the past. So, but since AMD is growing, it's coming with new generation. They get stronger and faster, and a lot and many times cheaper than Nvidia. A lot of people start to move over to AMD as well, especially with techniques like FSR3 and stuff. So yeah, it's important that we get those headsets running with AMD as well. That's going to be a priority for
So
sure.
you want to, but it's not fixed yet.
Well, I have, as I said, something that I haven't tested myself. I don't want to testify on
Okay,
it, but I've
right.
heard that the goal is to have it working on or on
Okay,
both brands. Not if we're talking about Intel, the Intel GPUs. No, probably not. Not at launch, at least. I don't know how many people will actually use an Intel graphic card, those dedicated Intel GPUs.
no, no,
But
no, for sure
AMD,
not.
yes, yeah, but
Okay.
AMD, yes, yes, that's a top priority.
Okay, cool. Okay, and that concludes the questions for the micro OLED. Now, in the very end of this, is the 12K still going to come? And when is it coming? Because people have been waiting for it for so many years now, and they bought 8K X's because they hope for the trade-in, right? So
Yeah,
what's going on with the 12K? Is it going to come out?
yeah. There's been so many 12K prototypes floating around. There has been floating around at the office. I mean, and I've seen a couple of them. Here's the thing. What would like to point out, first of all, 12K is not discontinued in any way, as some people think or claim. It's not going to discontinued. It's still the priority. I mean, it's one of the priorities to get it out. Now, since we discovered that the dual mode of the crystal was not a necessity for the 12K, we decided to move away from it. So it's not going to use a battery. It's not going to have
Okay,
the standalone mode.
okay, good.
Which, and as I said before, this super is a part of the 12K development as
Mm-hmm.
well. And we want to make sure that the super is out before the 12K. The final touch on the 12K is done, and and the plan is to show it at CES in
Okay,
January next year. And
okay,
then
good.
we're not talking about a freaking glued prototype anymore. I suspect it's going to be way further than that, because I've seen units which basically look really good with those cool lenses. They're massive. It's the massive lenses. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not there yet. It's difficult. There are so many hurdles along the way with the eye tracking, with the performance also. I mean, just
They
forget
need the,
about using.
you need the 5090 probably.
Yes, it first of all, it looks like I'm not gonna swear on this, but it looks like it's gonna use DisplayPort 2.1. I think it is 2.0, 2.1,
2.1,
which
I think.
automatically makes a lot of the GPUs not
Yeah,
even usable with the
all.
12K. Yeah, because
5090
of the
basically.
resolution, because of the limitation of the bandwidth with the DisplayPort 1.4, it would require some massive compression to make that to work with the 12K. As I said, I'm not swearing on this. There might be changes made, but I've heard some rumors that it will move over to. So this means also that if we even release the 12K now, like, you wouldn't be able to use it. Maybe
Yeah.
with an AMD GPU that has those DisplayPort 2.1, 2.0, I think it is.
Okay.
Um, but no Nvidia card has that as of today, which
Okay.
assumingly, or as they claim, that it will have, as far as I heard, the
Okay.
5000 series.
All right.
It's going to be a
Yeah.
mandatory step. It's going to be a step that all GPU makers have to take now, because of the limitations. We're already pushing the limits by using the display stream compression stuff and eye tracking, forwarded
Right.
transport and stuff. But at some point, there has to be a leap to the next DisplayPort protocol.
Right. The 12K might be the right headset for that. Okay. So
Yeah,
12K hopefully at CES 2025. And
yeah.
then, yeah, sometime later, hopefully
And
it's going to come out.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are disappointed. I mean, I hear that every day. I mean, even before this stream, there were so many people like, "Hey, 12K announcement, 12K, 12K."
Yeah.
But it's a part of the process. There's nobody that actually is dragging this out for no reason. I mean, if we would release a 12K, which would be working on with the current GPUs, we would take such a huge leap right now. It's crazy. We could probably like charge $4,000 for it, and people would still pay it because it's such a leap when it comes to field of view and all that. But so it's not about just, we're not trying to drag this out because it's not profitable or something, as some people say. I've seen that in the chats, and so people assume quite a lot of things, but
Right.
there are some serious difficulties that we're still trying to tackle with some of the aspects, such as the wide field of view of 200 degrees and the eye tracking implementation, which is once that's 100%, it's going to be a massive achievement, just like the Y-Gig, I think. So yeah, it is in the development. It's been in development for like 3 years now, and it may sound like a eternity, but eventually there's going to be something really great coming out of this. And
Okay.
people who actually invested in by, for instance, going for the 8KX and then for the trading program, nobody will be left out. That's for sure. I mean, it's not like we're gonna all of a sudden there will be
Yeah.
no 12K. Haha, sorry.
Yeah, that would be the end of Pimax as well.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that. No company would do
Okay.
that. So don't worry about that. But yes, it takes time, just like many other things. It
Okay.
takes time, like
Right.
in all industries.
Right. That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
why is the Tesla Cybertruck not out? I mean, not Cybertruck. What is it called? The sports
yeah.
car. No, Cybertruck.
No. Yeah, no, the Roadster.
The other one was supposed to be out 2017. I think it's still not out there.
Yeah.
So there are complications along the way, which has to be like fixed, or at least somehow manageable, like working.
Right.
At least we can get it out to the public, because we don't want to release beta products, which we don't want to make customers to beta testers. I think most companies have done that in the past, including Pimax. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to be
just want to
honest.
say, like,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
okay.
always turns out as a bad idea, which I think we're trying to avoid now this time.
Okay.
This is also why I'm getting so happy when I'm testing the Crystal Super, the Crystal Light, and the Y-Gig, and it just works. And it's
Right.
like, it's like people shouldn't actually complain about these products like they used to do with the 8K or 5K
Okay,
plus or whatever.
because it's
There are
more mature
always
now,
some
more.
things. Yeah,
Right.
it's just more mature.
It's reaching a level of maturity now. That's great. I can see it with the Pimax Crystal, and I'm looking forward to see the next models. Martin, I believe we have delivered an amazing show here. 2 hours and 30 minutes, full of information for you, the PCVR enthusiast. I really hope that our viewers enjoyed the show. Please, if you love it that we spend our my morning now. It's 6 o'clock here, and I'm gonna have a breakfast. And if you value that Martin came on here, he didn't need to do it, right? And he's now here for 2.5 hours. Please,
I love to do it. It's awesome.
I also love to. Yeah, we are enthusiasts, right? We love this stuff, so we love to do it. But give it a thumbs up here. And also go to Sweviver's channel and subscribe to it, because there's going to be more videos about the new headsets. And yeah, please leave comments. Go crazy in the comment section about all these videos that I made about the event, and also that Martin is going to publish. Go crazy and show the world, yes, we want PCVR, and it's not dead at all. And I personally want to thank you, Martin, that you are working so hard on it for us with Pimax. And also, I truly also want to thank Pimax that you're keeping PCVR alive, and that you're pushing the limits, and that you're now like delivering the stuff that we really want.
Indeed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely need combis like Pimax and whatever, Somnium Space, all the others.
Yes.
Yeah, it helps. We help each other in some way. Even
so.
though we're kind of competing, but it still helps the industry. It helps the consumers. I mean, all of us geeks to get better headsets eventually. So,
and today really geeked out a lot. It was amazing.
We did, and I showed some hints of the videos I'm going to post. There's going to be a Y-Gig video probably later this week. There's going to be a Crystal Light video, which is finished already. And then a super video very soon, because they're supposed to send me a sample here. I was not able to record much with the super, just a few clips. I'm not going to do a video of that, but there's going to be a lot of content coming out about these things, and hopefully we're going to provide you as well, just like some other YouTubers and reviewers, content creators as well. But yeah, we'll make sure you get it early.
It's going to be super exciting. I'm going to make lots of content. That's going to be so fun. Yeah, okay. So that's everything for this stream. Again, if you enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. And well, I'm going to bring you all the content for all the headsets. It's going to be so much fun. That's cool. Everything. That's everything that we got for today. And yeah, we're looking forward to see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for having me, Seb.
It was